Most intense college football rivalries of the South. Jackson State and Tennessee State, the annual battle that is the Southern Heritage Classic. From the home of the Blues, Memphis, Tennessee, it's Jackson State versus Tennessee State, coming your way. High above the largest city in Tennessee, Memphis, on the banks of the mighty Mississippi River, the flavor and feel of this city crackling down the side streets to this historic structure. Welcome inside the Liberty Bowl for the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic as the Tigers from Jackson State take on the Tigers from Tennessee State. Great to have you with us for tonight's game. Tom Wormy, along with Rod Smith. And Rod, it seems like every single year this game goes right down to the wire. Let's take the last 3 years. 2 of those go to overtime. Tennessee State wins them both. And then last year, the Tigers of Tennessee State get a last-second field goal and win it again. They have won 5 in a row against Jackson State.
Well, yeah, the classic always seems to go down to the last play of the game. You have 2 generations of families that have watched your young men compete in this event, and it always seems to go down to the wire. The last 4 contests, the teams are only separated by 11 points. I expect more of the same, 2 teams getting after it, going down to the last play of the game.
Antonio Hefner is the quarterback for Tennessee State. A lot riding on this game. He's a senior. He is from Memphis, and twice he has been the MVP of the Southern Heritage Classic.
Well, Hefner's always been a fantastic athlete. He was the number 4 rated player coming out of high school in the state of Tennessee. He's a stud. What he's done the last 2 years is really learn the quarterback position mentally. He's much better now at putting his team into the right play. He's much better now at the line of scrimmage making checks. And most of all, when he scrambles outside the pocket, he does a wonderful job of finding receivers down the field and completing long passes.
And one guy, particularly on the defensive line for Jackson State, is going to have to contain Mr. Hefner, and that's Sam Washington, the defensive end.
Yeah, Sam Washington has been disruptive for the last 2 years in this defensive scheme, and they don't give him a whole lot of help. They say, Sam, you've got the best tackle they've got, beat him, and he's done that. He's already got 2.5 sacks this year. He's the leader of that defensive front. They're going to have to play big. Try to keep Hefner inside the pocket. Try to keep Williams, the star tailback, inside the pocket. If you can get that done, they have a chance to be successful on defense.
Marcus Bernard, another quality defensive end for Jackson State. We'll keep an eye on him as well as they try to meet at Antonio Hefner. Not an easy thing to do. This is the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic. Coming up next here on Sports South, Jackson State against Tennessee State. The Tigers against the Tigers. And it's all next from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. So, the Southern Heritage Classic on Sports South is brought to you in part by Suzuki, by FedEx, and by Allstate. Welcome back inside the Liberty Bowl as a parachutist comes down from the sky above Memphis, Tennessee, and we go down to the sidelines with the 3rd member of our broadcast team, James Barrett.
Well, Tom, for Jackson State and Tennessee State, they are both looking to stay blue. And when I mean that, for Tennessee State, they want to prove that they are true blue. Their 2-0 start is not a fluke, and James Webster says the more they win, the more the community and the school gets behind this football team. For Jackson State, they want to stop having the blues here in Memphis. For 5 straight years, they have fallen under the thumb of Tennessee State, and Rick Comegy says enough is enough, and he told those guys they know they're going to be on national television, and now is the time to show and prove that this is a team that won the SWAC championship last year, and this is a team that can finally end that 5-year losing streak.
Thank you, James. Right now, time to take a look at our 4 keys to victory with Rod Smith.
Well, for Jackson State, it's very simple. They've got to find a way to win on first down. You can't control the clock. You can't dictate the pace of play. You can't keep Tennessee State's fantastic offense on the sideline from 2nd and 10. All right, you've got to get to 2nd and small. All right, and their defense, they must play big. They've got some little guys on their defensive line. They average about 250 pounds. They need to play bigger than they are. Got to get that run stop. Tennessee State, they've got to score early, and I'm talking about touchdowns. 3 points is not going to get it done. Big plays are not going to get it done. If they let this game get deep into the third quarter and it's tight, Jackson State can easily find a way to win.
All right, Rod, we'll take a look and be on the lookout for those particular points as we take the break from the Liberty Bowl. This is the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic on Sports South.
It's a vehicle of Talladega.
Back inside the Liberty Bowl as the fireworks explode off the field in Memphis, Tennessee, here for the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic right here on Sports South between Tennessee State and Jackson State. The fans excited and ready to go. The bands, we will see and hear from them at halftime of this 19th annual Classic. Tennessee State 2-0 on the season, their best start since 2004. For Jackson State, they are 1-1 so far this season. The defending SWAC champions, winning it last year over Grambling State in that championship game. And you get a feel and a sense of the emotion and the tradition involved and the excitement that surrounds this game. These teams don't play in the same conference, but they do play every year here at the Liberty Bowl, and it's exciting for everyone who has a piece of this game, Rod.
Yeah, there is a certain intensity in college football that you don't find in professional football. There is an intensity when it comes to college football as it relates to rivalry games. When you have generations of fans that have watched their sons and their sons compete against one another, it takes on a different meaning. So the players all talk to us about, hey, we've got to get this win for our fans. My mother's in the stands. My girlfriend's in the stands. My grandmama's mama's in the stands.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to let her down and come away with a loss today. So there's high emotions on the field today.
And you just saw the Tigers from Tennessee State take the field. They have won 5 in a row and lead this series 9-7 over Jackson State. Last year, how exciting was it? It went right down to the wire. We'll start in the fourth quarter. Antonio Hefner, the little shovel pass to Terrence Wright, and we're all tied up at 13 with just over 8 minutes left. Then the block by Dominic Rogers-Cromartie for Tennessee State. Here's your game winner, final play of the game, 35 yards out. Eric Benson making the 35-yarder. Look at the celebration and a victory for Tennessee State. It's 5th in a row. The head coach for the Jackson State University Tigers is Rick Kamaji, and what success he has experienced in his first 2 years, third year, 16th head coach overall in Jackson State history. 15-10 is his overall record.
Yeah, and the thing about Kamaji is he has been the coach of the year at every level in a 30-year coaching career. He's always been coach of the year. He was 90-26 at Tuskegee before he took over here at Jackson State. He wins the title last year in only his second year, and he's still trying to put his footprint onto this football team. He's recruited a lot of smart kids. He specifically goes after honor roll students to give his team the ability to run a variety of different plays.
And in 2000, his team at Tuskegee, a perfect 12-0 record. On the other side of the field for Tennessee State is James Webster. In his 4th year with the Tigers, he is 15-20 overall, but the important mark today, he is 3-0 against Jackson State. In fact, his first win as a head coach came back in 2005 in the Southern Heritage Classic, a 20-14 overtime win over Jackson State.
Yeah, much like Kamaji, it's taken Coach Webster a couple of years to get his type of players in here. He has an ability as an amazing recruiter to bring in kids from Florida State, kids from Illinois, kids from Missouri. He's grabbing kids that are dissatisfied at these larger schools, getting them into his program, and building a winner here. I expect that this is the best offense and best defense, the most talented team that Coach Webster's had since he's been at TSU.
All right, Rob, we're just about set to get underway here from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Jackson State University will be in the white with the dark blue pants. Tennessee State with the blue tops and white pants. Tennessee State with a victory over Southern last week. Jackson State with a win over Stillman, 17-7. Jackson State 1-1. Tennessee State 2-0. And we are underway in the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic. They'll mark it at about the 24, and that's where Tennessee State will take over 1st and 10 after the return from Brandon Belvin. Antonio Hefner taking the field. 66.1% completion so far this year, over 600 yards through the air for Antonio Hefner.
Yeah, Antonio is a superstar, and I tell you what you don't see on that stat is the fact he's rushed for nearly 200 yards. I mean, the guy accounts for 75% of his team's total offense. Comes directly through Hefner's arm or his legs.
First down for Tennessee State from its own 24-yard line. Hefner wants to pull the trigger right away, flush from the pocket. Hefner to the 35, to the 40, and he goes out of bounds just shy of the 40. But that's a 14-yard pickup and a first down on the first play of the game for Tennessee State. As we take a look at some of the players to watch for the Tigers from Tennessee State University. And Javaris Williams, the running back, has a chance to set the record for career rushing touchdowns. He is 11 away from that record, but he is the main back in that backfield for the Tigers.
Yeah, if you haven't seen him play yet, this is gonna be fun. He's a physical, tough, aggressive runner. Fantastic player.
Williams gets his first call of the game. Tries to turn the corner and goes out of bounds for Jackson State University. Some of the players to watch there for the Tigers. We talked about Sam Washington. Marcellus Speaks, the middle linebacker, number 56, a former walk-on on this team, and he is the leader defensively.
Yeah, I mean, the former walk-on worked 2 jobs to earn the right to make this football team and participate in this program. Now he's the leader on defense, number 1, and he calls all the plays.
Marcus Bernard is the other defensive end, number 80. 12 tackles on the season for him. No gain on first down for Tennessee State. 2nd and 10. They swing it wide. Complete to Juwan Spillman, but there's not a whole lot there for Spillman. Spillman is 8th catch of the season right there. He is averaging over 23 yards per catch and has an 81-yard touchdown grab. And that came against Alabama A&M in the first game of the season for Tennessee State.
Yeah, Spillman, a transfer from Louisville, has tremendous speed. He's been clocked at 4.26 in the 40-yard dash. He scores on kickoff returns, punt returns. He is a big play guy, a jitterbug that if he gets some open room on you, he can score from anywhere on the field.
3rd down and 7 for the Tigers from Tennessee State University, and now a flag comes out.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that'll push Tennessee State back even further. And James Webster wants to plead his case.
You know, we talked about this earlier. I mean, there you go. You know, they've been plagued with penalties. They average nearly 10 a game. They kill themselves and they kill their drives by taking themselves out of fantastic down and distance. Second and 8, that's not so bad, but 3rd and 12, it's tough to get a first down from here.
56% on the season on 3rd down for Tennessee State. Hefner pressured and he's going down. The sack for number 92, Dennis Coit. And that gives him 1.5 sacks on the season. That brings up a punting situation for the Tigers from TSU.
Yeah, and Hefner looked as though he was trying to force that ball down the field, and he missed number 5, Chris Johnson, his senior wide receiver. Their leading receiver was wide open on the in route. I mean, it's Chris Johnson's favorite route, the deep end, and there was nobody within 5 yards of him. Hefner just missed him.
Carlos Simpson is deep to receive the punt. Coming up from Taylor Cisneros for Tennessee State. And this is going to roll out of bounds, and they'll probably mark it near the 43, so great field position. The official mark is actually beyond the 45. There is some discussion on the far sideline. Let's see where they mark it. They're looking at about the 43-yard line. So again, Jackson State, for its first field possession of the game, in a very good spot as they get a chance to go on the offensive here for the first time at the Southern Heritage Classic.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee State, they got a penalty and then kicked it short. Great field position for Jackson State.
And Trey Rutland, the starting quarterback, has thrown for 2 touchdowns so far this season. They will go to the ground. And that's going to be a gain of about 5 on first down for Jackson State. And that's Blaudy Dorjan. We'll keep an eye on Blaudy Dorjan, number 2. Dorjan averaging over 4 yards per carry so far this season, Rod.
Yeah, number 88, Keenan Tillman, the freshman wide receiver. At 6'5", 220, is a big target and should develop into an outstanding player as he gets a little more seasoned. Dorjan gets the call again, left side, across midfield, and Dorjan should be very close to a first down. In fact, he will have it. Yeah, nice run by Dorjan here. Look at the surge by the offensive lineman getting pushed. Dorjan hitting it up in there hard, staying inside the tackles, not trying to bounce it, but pushing his nose up there, taking on a physical play and moving the chains.
First down for Jackson State. Trey Rutland, 6'3", 230 pounds, the junior from Atlanta, Georgia. Dorjan for the 3rd time in a row. And he is met immediately. Rico Council, who is leading tackler for Tennessee State, number 47, makes the stop. And we go right to the defensive players to watch. And Rico Council, 6'4", 254 from Chattanooga, Tennessee, big number 47 in the middle.
Yeah, Rico is a true sophomore. He's really going to develop into a talent. You know, and his body keeps growing. He may end up at defensive end before he gets out of here. You know, at 6'4", 220 now, he gains 20, 30 more pounds, and he's going to be rushing the quarterback for a living.
No gain on first down. 2nd and 10 for Jackson State. In the white, Tennessee State in the blue helmets, light blue helmets. And this time it's Rutland calling his own number. Down inside the 35, but several penalty markers thrown on the play.
Well, we had a great block in the perimeter, all right, by Keenan Tillman, the freshman wideout I just mentioned. It looked like he may have got a little jersey on that.
Doing the run. Number 88 on offense. 10-yard penalty. To teach it down.
Yeah, I love the effort. You know, you got a freshman wide receiver out there. He's on your left side of the screen. He's blocking like heck. He's trying to get his quarterback free, but look at him. He's got his hands on the outside of the jersey, got a hold of the pads. Can't do that. But you got to love the effort, you know, for a young guy to chase down a defensive back and at least try to stay on him. Not bad.
True freshman from Milton, Florida.
Going to be a good one.
And now you see Rutland is out wide in the formation. And you had Carlos Simpson, who was going to take the snap. But we have whistles before the play develops. It is 2nd and 11 for Jackson State. Line. Dorjan nowhere to go this time. He is stopped by Anthony Levine, number 6. Also number 7, Marcus Broxy, in on the tackle, the sophomore from Tampa, Florida. There you get a look at Levine, 6'1", 195, the junior from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Yeah, Levine has fantastic hands. He's a real good athlete. Played wide receiver in high school. Was a track star. State champion, 200-meter dash, got great speed and very physical.
We are experiencing some technical difficulties momentarily, but we will keep you on top of the action here. 2nd and 11. Jackson State. Trey Rutland goes to the far side, down to about the 31-yard line. The clock continues to tick.
with 7 minutes, 41 seconds to go here in the first quarter. No score between Tennessee State and Jackson State.
Yeah, at number 22, Eugene Clifford, a true sophomore, transferred again in from Ohio State, was just about ready to crack the starting lineup for the Buckeyes before he came out of favor. He transfers in here. He's an instant starter and an impact player.
Clifford wears number 22 for the Tennessee State defense, 6'2", 195 pounds. The sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio, came into the game with 9 tackles and a fumble recovery. It is now 3rd and 8, just over 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and it appears that Jackson State has taken a timeout. They will talk about this 3rd and 8 situation. The Tigers in the Southern Heritage Classic. Jackson State trying to end a 5-game losing streak to Tennessee State University. We'll come back with more from the Liberty Bowl. No score on Sports South.
It basically took me the whole summer. And I don't know how many times I needed to go to AutoZone, but at least now when I go, it's not on my bike.
The chase for the Cup is in full swing. Tune in to Around the Track for a comprehensive recap of the weekend's NASCAR action. We'll tell you who's leading the chase and which drivers are planning for next year. Plus, complete recaps of all the racing circuits. Everything from Andretti to Zipadelli. Around the Track, presented by your local Ford dealers. Tomorrow night at 10:30.
This week on Fox NFL Sunday. Join the guys as America's #1 pregame show gets you ready for kickoff. Then, New York and St. Louis collide as Eli and the Super Bowl champion Giants battle the Rams. Or, you'll see the Saints take on Portis and the Redskins. It's another great slate of thrilling NFL action this week on Fox NFL Sunday.
You're watching Sports South.
Back in Memphis, Tennessee for the Southern Heritage Classic. We apologize for our technical difficulties, but we have our signal back. Tom Wormy, Rod Smith, James Verrett here for the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic. Jackson State University in the white uniforms, in the white shirts, and Tennessee State University in the lighter blue. Trey Rutland on 3rd down, over the middle. It is complete. It's a 1st down and more. Inside the 20, down to the 10 and out of bounds. You know, Carlos Everett on the play, on the receiving end of that play, and it'll be 1st and goal for Jackson State.
And Kamaji, a former All-American quarterback, makes a great play call here. You've got young receivers. You've got a quarterback who's a first-year starter. So what do you do on 3rd down? You just get your receivers to cross. There won't be any mistakes on assignments. Drop the ball over. It's an easy pass. You move the chains. You get into red zone scoring territory. Great call by your head coach Kamaji there.
23-yard gain on the play. 1st and goal from the 8. And flags and whistles. And maybe a few boos from the crowd as well.
Prior to the snap. False start. Number 76 on offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Number 76 is Michael Harshaw. So that'll move the football back to the 13-yard line. In the red zone this season so far for Jackson State, 2 of 6, 33%. Both of those scores were touchdowns for head coach Rick Kamaji. Who can't be happy now because they just went from the 8 to the 13 as they try to strike first here in the Southern Heritage Classic. Trey Rutland, handoff, Dorjan, stopped immediately. Big number 72, Roger Morris swallowed him up, but again we've got a flag on the play.
Yeah, Ozzie Harrell, number 3, your wide receiver, is off the line of scrimmage.
Illegal formation, 6 men line on the line of scrimmage. That penalty declined. 2nd down.
Yeah, you got a young wide receiver, Ozzie Harrell. He's got to get up and cover that tackle. If he lines up off the ball, and he tried to move up late in the down, try to figure it out. Somebody was yelling at him, and it didn't work out.
So 2nd and goal from the 13. This is Everett again, and he is spun down. Great defensive play for Tennessee State. Brandon Blackman making the play for the Tigers on 2nd down. It'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 19.
Yeah, the Tigers coming with the blitz, trying to get their safeties involved. They see Jackson State's running the football. So what do? You get your big safety, run into the line of scrimmage, beats the tackle, gets in the backfield, makes an outstanding play.
Rod, what's the play call for 3rd and goal from the 19?
You know, it's similar to the last 3rd down play. I think you want to get the ball in the hands of one of your young receivers, short, an easy throw that's not going to be intercepted and take you out of field goal range, and let the guy make a play with his feet.
Rutland from the shotgun. The lefty has some time. Swings it to Dorjan. Tries to get around the corner, but he bounced out of bounds. Dorjan smacked by Eugene Clifford. Goes out of bounds at the 18. It'll bring up 4th down for Jackson State.
Yeah, it's the right play call. You know, get the ball in the hands of Dorjan in the flat, see if he can't beat somebody in the open field and make a play. But Clifford just closes up on him here, and boom. Good physical tackle there. Knocked the running back out of bounds.
35-yard field goal attempt coming up from Eric Perry, who set the school record last year in the Southern Heritage Classic with a 50-yard field goal. This one from 35 yards out. And again, whistles and flags, and Tennessee State may have been a little over-anxious there, Rod. Keith Moore is our head referee. And James Webster, pretty easy to tell, he is not a happy head coach at this point.
Punt to the snap. Offside. The defense. 5-yard penalty. Beat you down.
Yeah, we get a little anxious on the exterior there, trying to get in the backfield.
Looks like Marquez Hall, number 21, Rod.
Yeah, 2-year starter. You think he would? He's seen a lot of these plays before. I'm surprised.
So now it's a 29-yard attempt. And there is still some confusion on the field. Brett Bennett, the punter, will be the holder for the field goal attempt. And they will take it right from the 20. So a 30-yard attempt for Eric Perry to try to put the first points on the board of the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic. From 30 yards out, Perry with the kick, and it is good. So Jackson State capitalizing on tremendous field position. They drive down inside the 10, a couple of penalties moving back, and then Eric Perry connects on the field goal attempt. A 30-yarder for Perry, and the Jackson State University Tigers have the lead. Jackson State taking a 3-0 lead over Tennessee State with 4 minutes 19 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Off the right leg of Eric Perry from 30 yards out. 13 plays, 45 yards. Took up 7 minutes 57 seconds. It's a 30-yard field goal for Eric Perry, the junior from Miami, Florida, who has now connected on 18 of 25 field goals this season.
You know, and you watch the ball come off of Perry's foot now when he kicks field goals. And it's dramatically different from even last year. He said he's worked all off season on following through and being solid with his lead leg. And you can tell that ball comes out of there a different way than it did last year. Much more power.
Jabril Smith will kick it away for Jackson State. That is a live ball, and Jackson State falls on it. Do they have it?
Wow.
Yes, they do, at the 21 rod.
Wow. Are you kidding me? That's a live ball. You got to go get that thing. We had 2 up backs standing right by the play who just kind of watched it. Yeah, you've got to get over there and get on this ball. It's almost as if he thought it was gonna pop forward where he could catch it. See, he's kind of standing back. Now he tries to drive it to the ball. It's too late.
That's Andre Wright who came up with it. Jawan Spillman Watched it take a funny bounce, and then Wright pounced all over it. And Jackson State trying to capitalize on this play from the 21.
Yeah, it looked like the foot may have been out of bounds before he got on that ball, though. Take another look at it here in a minute.
1st and 10 from the 21. Dorjan. Maybe 1 or 2 yards on the play for Dorjan. But here it is again. That is Spillman. It takes a funny bounce. It checks up, and then here comes Wright.
Yep, and the foot's out of bounds there. Yeah, if your foot's out of bounds and you touch the ball, you're out of bounds. It's all out of bounds, sure.
Let's go down to James Verrett with a very special guest.
Well, Tom and Rod, I am joined by Jackson State alum, Brigadier General Reuben Jones. Now, I know you're happy because you turned around and said, okay, we've got the ball, right?
I'm always happy when those big blue tigers from Jackson, Mississippi on the prowl.
What is your fondest memory of being a Jackson State Tiger?
I think it's being at events like this, seeing the pageantry, seeing the excitement of the game. Those are the things that I remember.
Now, this is also an important deal simply because you guys use this as a recruiting tool, am I correct?
Well, yes, we like to show off the Army. We like to show the benefits for being in the Army. We like to show what opportunities the Army has after high school education. And we like to just show people and let soldiers tell their story. And that's what it's all about, soldier's story. Every soldier has a story, and we just like to make sure that that soldier tells it, because it's not like any other young American out there. Everyone has a story.
All right, thanks a lot. And I know Rob and Tom, he wants the story to be JSU with the victory. Back up to you guys upstairs.
Thank you, James. They are knocking on the door. 1st and goal from the 6 to the ground and down to the 5. And prior to this play, Tennessee State thought it had the ball as Marquez Hall came up with it. Here is the previous play, Rod.
Yeah, Rutland escapes left and then drills the curl in there. But it looked like that ball came out on a very good tackle. It's his knee down before he takes this shot.
That is Tillman who takes the shot.
Down.
Yeah, he takes it from Rico Council.
Yeah, knees down.
One of the bigger hitters in the game for Tennessee State. It is 2nd and goal from the 5. Rutland is your quarterback. Swings it out, far side. Touchdown. Carlos Simpson with the extra effort to get to the end zone, and Jackson State has scored the first touchdown of the game with 2:27 to go in the first quarter.
What a fantastic play by Comedy. He's going to run the football. He's going to spread it out wide. Rutland gets the ball out of his hands quickly into one of his little jitterbugs hands in the open field. Absolutely perfect execution of a well-thought-out game plan. We're going to run the ball until you start to blitz us, and when you blitz us, we're going to get it to the perimeter into the hands of our playmakers.
The extra point is good. 5-yard connection from Trey Rutland to Carlos Simpson. His 2nd touchdown catch of the season is Jackson State the 10-0 lead.
That's what makes a house a home.
You're watching Sports South.
Jackson State with a 10-0 lead here at the Southern Heritage Classic. Carlos Simpson with his 2nd touchdown catch of the season off the left arm of Trey Rutland, his 3rd TD pass of the year, Rod.
Well, Rutland a great job of giving his receiver a chance to make a play with the football. Notice it was on his lower back hip. That's the perfect spot. Simpson gets it. He doesn't get fancy. Takes it straight up the field, north and south. Touchdown. Fantastic play. Great execution.
Suzuki scoring drive. 4 plays, 21 yards, a minute, 51 seconds. The 5-yard touchdown grab by Carlos Simpson. 5'9", 200 pounds, the senior, his last go-round in the Southern Heritage Classic, and he has himself a touchdown, the senior from Detroit, Michigan. That is Juwan Spillman, who is deep to receive the kick from Jabril Smith. And last time, Smith put some backspin on one, and Jackson State covered it. This time, it's also up for grabs, picked up at the 35.
We got some hitting going on over there. I'll tell you what, some guys are getting knocked flat on their back. Great job by Tennessee State, recognizing what was happening, closing on the ball, scooping it up, and moving it upfield.
Brandon Belvin making the play for Tennessee State. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching tonight's broadcast in 176 countries and U.S. territories on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thanks for all you do, and we hope you're enjoying tonight's telecast of the Southern Heritage Classic.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
We are worldwide tonight, folks, here on Sports South, as Tennessee State goes to work on 1st and 10, and they'll move it up to about the 47. Marcellus Speaks making the tackle, leading tackler for Jackson State coming in, and it was Dante Thomas on the carry for Tennessee State.
Yeah, and you look at Jackson State executing their philosophy perfectly. You want to control the clock. You want to keep Tennessee State's explosive offense on the sidelines. They've held the ball for 9 minutes and 49 seconds. Are you kidding me? This game could not have started any better. It goes back to sound execution, running the football successfully, and getting the ball in the hands of your receivers in a simple manner and protecting the football.
You saw number 92 for Jackson State being helped off of the field. That's Dennis Coit. He already has a sack in tonight's game. Hefner complete. Johnson at the 45, inside the 40, and a first down for the Tigers of Tennessee State, down to the 37 of Jackson State.
Chris Johnson, the senior, leading the team in receptions, has a wonderful feel on how to get open in the middle of the field. If you don't find a way to stop him from running the in route, he'll catch 5 or 6 of these on you during the course of a day. Hefner doesn't even look at anybody else. He knows that Johnson's going to get open in the middle of the field.
15-yard pickup on the play for the Tigers of Tennessee State University, trailing Jackson State 10-0. Williams around the corner, inside the 30, and a first down. Javaris Williams with some punishing rushing and some jawing after the play as well, Rod. It's getting heated down to the field.
Well, you were down there with me yesterday and had a chance to talk to him. We got a flag here, probably holding at the point of attack. But to Williams' credit,
Doing the run, holding, 78 on offense, 5-yard penalty, defeats it down.
Penalty on Justin Ridgway will negate the rush from Javaris Williams.
Yep. I'll tell you what, let's take a look here. There's your hold right there. It's 68. The officials missed the number. Yep, that's Duval Young, the junior. Well, to Williams' credit, I'll tell you what, love the way he finishes runs. Did you see him just run right through that arm tackle? Good football player, Williams.
On the penalty, now it is 1st and 19 with the ball beyond the 45 of Jackson State. Swings it out to Williams, down to the 40. And Williams tackled on the play by Marcellus Speaks one more time, and I think we're going to mention Speaks' name a few times tonight. We will also talk about Javaris Williams, the senior from Richmond, Texas, who was tackled by Speaks, who is a senior from Jackson, Mississippi.
You know, it really is one of the great matchups as you watch this game. Marcellus Speaks, the linebacker for Jackson State, one-on-one versus Javaris Williams, the tailback for Tennessee State. Both all-conference players, both team leaders, and they're both going to see each other in the middle of those chalk lines 90% of the plays today.
Rick Comagee says he's a pleasure to coach. In fact, he has to kick him out of the film room. He's always watching film on the opposition. Hefner with a fake, and now he's rolling right. He'll tuck and run, makes a move at the 35, and goes out of bounds inside the 30, very close to the first down marker.
You know, we talked about him at the opening of the broadcast, how he accounts for 75% of all of the offense from Tennessee State. He is incredibly dangerous when he gets on the perimeter. And one of the skills that he's added to his repertoire this year is his ability, when he's out of the pocket, not to panic and just run it, but he will back off that line of scrimmage and kill you down the field. He's averaging 15 yards a catch. He throws the ball deep and he'll hurt you. A testament to his skills and his improvement.
So before Tennessee State can execute its 3rd and 1 play, the first quarter has ended from the Liberty Bowl. Tennessee State is 0 for 1 on 3rd down. Can they convert against Rick Comagee's defense? We will find out when we come back. 1 quarter in the books. Jackson State with a 10-0 lead over Tennessee State from the Liberty Bowl and the Southern Heritage Classic on Sports South.
Oh, game day.
Yeah, like your breakfast.
Bergwood, your new car's rolling.
It's not stolen. I just bought it.
It's gonna hit that truck.
There's no need to swear.
Oh.
Hot car, huh?
It's on fire.
The Southern Heritage Classic on Sports South is brought to you in part by Suzuki, by AutoZone, and by Ford. The Mississippi River in downtown Memphis, Tennessee, as we come inside the Liberty Bowl and the Tennessee State University mascot. The Tigers against the Tigers here on 3rd and 1. Tennessee State 0 for 1 so far in 3rd down. They will give it to Williams, and he will get the first down and drag a couple of tacklers with him inside the 25. First down for the Tigers. And Rod, before that carry by Williams, he had 2 carries for 1 yard. They've got to get him involved in the offense somehow. Did have a run negated at the end of the first quarter.
I tell you what, that's true, and we talked about that. But I love Williams' running style. I mean, he's just nasty and physical, full of energy. You know, it's one thing to have talent. It's another thing to have the willpower to make that talent into yards, into production. And Williams has that.
Came into the game with over 3,400 career rushing yards, and now Hefner will be taken down on first down for TSU. Javaris Williams has rushed for over 1,000 yards, Rod, in both of the last 2 seasons, and set a freshman record here, actually at Tennessee State, with 872 yards rushing.
And listen, by the time Javaris Williams leaves school, he will be statistically the #1 career leader in touchdowns, yards, and all-purpose yards. He's going to be statistically the best back to ever play in his conference before he leaves.
He has 30 rushing touchdowns in his career. That is second best in school history. Johnson underneath, wide open to the 10, dances inside the 5. First and goal for Tennessee State. Taken down by Dominique Johnson.
Well, Dominique Johnson just saved a touchdown.
20 yards on the connection from Hefner to Chris Johnson.
And there's Johnson doing exactly what he thought he was going to do. I mean, he's going to run the in route. He's going to run the slant. Here he runs a little delay. Hefner looks down the middle of the field to hold the safety. Bang. Hits his #1 receiver, Johnson, in where? The middle of the field. First down.
First and goal from the 4. Javaris Williams down to the 2. And very close to the goal line, but not in. They will mark it at the 1.
Hey, Tom, did you see him spin left right at the end of that run to get an extra 1.5 yards? I mean, that's the kind of thing that you can't teach. At some point, you have to have the instinct to find a little bit of leverage where you can lean in and maybe get another yard. And he's got it. Right at the end, the little spin back. See that? That's worth 1.5 yards.
Williams on second and goal, and he's into the end zone. The 31st career touchdown for Javaris Williams, and Tennessee State University is on the board.
Well, now we're going to find out what happens with Jackson State. You know, you come out, you execute perfectly. Okay, you're leading the time of possession. What does Tennessee State do? They don't quit. They come right back down the field, run the ball down the field, hit their top receiver, Johnson, and punch it right back in. Right? In football, you can't only be concerned with how many punches you give. You got to be able to take a punch once in a while. Jackson State is just taking a punch.
The extra point is good. It is now 10-7 as Tennessee State strikes Javaris Williams from short yardage, slams it in for the Tiger touchdown at the Southern Heritage Classic.
A stage play that everybody's talking about. Tyler Perry's The Marriage Counselor.
This is Tyler Perry inviting you to check out The Marriage Counselor.
Me? I am married. That got me. I wasn't expecting it.
It is the unstoppable power of God that puts marriages together.
Don't miss it this time. People are still talking about it.
It is so hilarious.
It's like over the top, you know.
He's gonna find another man. This is an awesome play.
October 10th through the 12th in the Orpheum Theater. Get tickets now or charge by phone.
The chase for the cup is in full swing. Tune in to Around the Track for a comprehensive recap of the weekend's NASCAR.
You're watching Sports South.
Back to Memphis, Tennessee, and that is Graceland, the former home of Elvis Presley. And in the late 80s, actually, Memphis tried to get an expansion NFL team. They already had the name. It was going to be, Rod, the Memphis Hound Dogs. And I think that has a little bit to do with one of the most famous entertainers to ever come from this region, Elvis Presley, as Javaris Williams gets a well-deserved breather on the sideline after a 1-yard touchdown run to make it 10-7. 13 minutes to go in the second quarter. Jackson State returns it up to the 28. Dominique Johnson, number 6, with the return for the Tigers. Here is the scoring drive for Tennessee State, presented by Suzuki. 10 plays, 57 yards, 4 minutes, 23 seconds. Javaris Williams, the 31st career TD for JW.
You know, and it's no coincidence that they're running the ball left, right behind number 66, Cornelius Lewis, transferring from Florida State. 6'5", 345 pounds. Strong and physical. And you know what? When they want to run the ball, they're trying to get into the end zone here and move the chains on first down. You can believe they're going to run right behind Lewis.
1st and 10 from the 28. 12 minutes, 56 seconds to go here in the second quarter for Jackson State. Rutland trying to find some room, and he is finally taken down.
Yeah, nowhere to go there. Great job of flying to the football, but John Thompson, he had about 5 blue shirts running to that football. He went right, didn't happen. Went left, it didn't happen. Finally cut up the middle, and Johnson closed the door on him. Outstanding team defense.
2nd and 10 for Jackson State. No gain on the play. Trey Rutland is 4 of 4 through the air for 42 yards and a touchdown. From the shotgun. Gets it away, incomplete. And he was looking for Dorjan. That'll bring up 3rd and long for Jackson State. The situation, Rod, that you said they cannot get in during the course of this game.
And you're looking at Maurice Davis there, who got the pressure, all right? Senior, 6'3", 245, big and fast. He's another guy that has a chance to maybe play on the next level. Outstanding pressure.
Davis, 3 sacks a season ago and 6.5 tackles for loss. The senior from Irondale, Alabama. 3rd and 10 for Jackson State with a 10-3 lead over Tennessee State. Rutland feels the pressure right up the middle and throws it at the feet of Carlos Simpson, incomplete. The pressure was coming right up the middle from big number 99, Jason Towson. He brought the pressure for the Tigers.
Yeah, Towson ended up really being unblocked. You know, what you had is a blitz situation. All right, we got 6 guys going to the quarterback. You have the guard not quite sure who to block. Instant pressure on your quarterback. It looks as though that Tennessee State and Coach Webster are going to bring pressure on 3rd and long. That's the 3rd and long where they've brought a blitz. Now, if you're Jackson State, you've got to find a way to counteract that somehow.
Brett Bennett punts it away for Jackson State. Chris Johnson wants the fair catch at the 30 and makes it successfully. So they'll spot the ball just beyond the 30 of Tennessee State University. As we take a break with just under 12 minutes to go, Beale Street, Memphis, Tennessee. It's the Southern Heritage Classic. 11 minutes, 59 seconds to go in the second quarter. Jackson State leading Tennessee State 10-7 in the Southern Heritage Classic. Tennessee State has won the last 5 Southern Heritage Classics against Jackson State University and leads the series in the Classic 9 wins to 7 losses. Dante Thomas gets the call on first down. Tennessee State scored on its previous possession, a touchdown run from Javaris Williams. They started at the 42-yard line. This time, the drive will start down near the 30. Marcus Jamison made the stop for Jackson State. Spot the ball at the 32 and call it 2nd and 9. Antonio Hefner, the quarterback, number 16. From right here in Memphis. Flushed from the pocket. Flag comes out. And Hefner Scoots out of bounds before taking a hit from Marcellus Speaks, but there is a flag on the play, Rod.
Yeah, it looks like big number 66, Cornelius Lewis, had a hold of some jersey there.
Doing the run, holding, number 66 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Cornelius Lewis, number 66, with the infraction. And Rod, this is an all-conference performer who got caught here.
Yeah, you know, he's blocking inside out so that Hefner can operate inside the pocket, and then when he feels the defender trying to get away from him, he's not quite sure where the quarterback is, if the quarterback's right next to him or not, so grabs a little jersey. You know, but again, we talk about Tennessee State and the penalties, how they surrender an entire quarter of offensive football with the yardage that they lose on penalties per game. You can't play 3 quarters against 4 and win football games.
2nd and 18 from the 23 for the Tigers from Tennessee State. Hefner from the shotgun. Once again, he is flush from the pocket. Pumps on the run, across the 30. Makes a move at the 35 and goes out of bounds at the 44.
Oh.
First down, Tennessee State.
There might be a jockstrap laying out there on the 35-yard line because Hefner just put a move on somebody in the secondary, and that was ugly. Wow. Hefner's a great athlete. I mean, you know, this guy is a former high jump champion. Boom, here's your move. Nothing but air. There we go. Oh, there you go. That's going to be on the highlight reel. Ryan Rich, true sophomore. Well, thank God he's a sophomore. He's got plenty of time to make a lot of plays. They'll forget about that by the time he's a senior.
21-yard pickup for Hefner and a first down for the 44. 10 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the half. This is Williams behind the block of Johnson, who wisely let go. And Chris Johnson, the senior, making a very wise play as he let go of the defender. Marcus Smith was on the stop along with Marcus Jamison for Jackson State.
I'll tell you what, Marcus Smith and Marcus Jamison are doing a wonderful job of keeping their outside arm and leg free. What they do is they post up with their left arm, they keep their right arm free, and that allows them to get free from the blocker when the running back gets closer. Williams has absolutely nowhere to go.
You saw Rick Comegee on the sideline, the Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year in 2001 and 2002 as he was the head coach at Tuskegee. Hefner throws it incomplete. He was looking for Juwan Spillman. Coverage by Malcolm Palmer. Very good timing from Palmer to make the play run.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had pressure in his face, so Hefner had to throw it off his back foot. Could never really get set. The ball's behind, and it gets played, gets defended.
10-7, Jackson State in the lead. Carlos Simpson with a 5-yard touchdown catch for Jackson State, and Javaris Williams, the 31st touchdown of his career as he slammed it in from a yard out. 10-7 Jackson State. Tom Wormy along with Rod Smith, a member of the 1988 National Championship team from Notre Dame. James Verrett is on the sidelines. Underneath and caught. Couple of shifty little moves right there from Juwan Spillman, and that's going to be a first down for Tennessee State.
And I tell you what, a great job by Devon to find an open lane in the middle of the field. Now this time it's not zone, it's man-to-man coverage. So once he gets in, then inside movement, there are people running back and forth across the field, and it's the receiver's job to find an open lane. See, he's being trailed in man-to-man there. Boom, gets across the field, makes one guy miss, gets upfield, first down. Outstanding job.
Spillman now with 2 catches for 14 yards. First down for Tennessee State. Ball spotted at the 43 of Jackson State. Hefner gets it away right before getting smacked, throws it deep, and no one can get to that one. Sam Washington brought the heat on Antonio Hefner.
Yeah, Washington's an outstanding pass rusher. Gets in the backfield and gets the half. But I'll tell you what, though, I mean, you can see the progression that Hefner's made. 2 years ago, he'd have thrown that ball up into coverage and got it picked off. Now he realizes the play's breaking down. I can still leave it down the field, and the only person that has a chance to catch is my receiver. If my receiver can't catch it, we'll start again, 2nd and 10. Smart play by the quarterback.
Antonio Hefner now 5 of 7, 57 yards passing. Hefner, the reverse, back this way. That is Spillman. Pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Whew. Some razzle-dazzle from Tennessee State and offensive coordinator Fred Keiss.
Well, Keiss and Webster said they have absolutely got to find a way to get Spillman more touches. All right, he has 4.2 speed, and he's got to get the ball in his hands. He's not seeing as much as they'd like at wideout. But look at this guy cover ground. I mean, everybody else looks like they're moving in slow motion. An outstanding. Now, here's the real speed. Look at those feet. Bang, 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 bang. Every time it's 5 yards a step. Unbelievable. Guy's got NFL speed. Got to get him touches.
32 yards on the play. 1st and 10 from the 11 for Tennessee State. Javaris Williams puts his head down and forges ahead to about the 5 for his forward progress. Marcel Young, number 9 for Jackson State, in on the stop. But you are going to feel some pain if you decide to tackle number 28.
And you know what? He still hasn't been tackled. He was stopped, but he was not tackled. Okay, I mean, you can start to get a sense of the willpower of this young man about how he fights for extra yards and how he wants to stay on his feet and how competitive he is.
Tennessee State now with 103 yards rushing. Winning the battle on the ground thus far. Williams is the lone back, gets the call, and is driven back.
Good tackle there.
Man, he went inside the 5, and Marcellus Speaks came flying in like he was shot out of a cannon to make the stop on Williams.
You know, and Speaks said, hey, in order for us to have an opportunity to win this football game, we have got to play physical. I, quote, want those offensive backs looking out of their ear hole. He's the vocal leader of that ball club, calls the signals, a fantastic young man, worked his way with 2 jobs as a walk-on, trying to earn enough to get back, to earn the right to get back on the football team.
Marcellus Speaks, the senior from Jackson, Mississippi, the all-conference performer. Williams caught in the backfield, and now he gets away and gets down to about the 2. Larry Dennis, 95.
Well, you talk
Jackson State. There's Jamison as well, number 19.
Yeah, you talk to anybody at Tennessee State about the strength of this Jackson State team, and they'll tell you it's their defensive line. You know, I'd go as far as to say it's their front 7. I mean, they are physical, they are intense, and they get after running backs. They come into this game, Tom, they're only giving up 1.8 yards a carry. I mean, these guys are good against the run.
But they have their backs up against their own end zone right here, as we'll have an official measurement with the ball spotted just beyond the 1-yard line of Jackson State with 7 minutes, 12 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter.
You know, and it goes back to the keys of the ball game. You know, Tennessee State has tons of talent, and that's great. But unless you score touchdowns, especially early, this game's going to go down the wire and you can easily lose. This play in particular goes to our point that Tennessee State has to score touchdowns in the first half if they want to have a chance to win this thing. All right? This is about as critical a play as any in this first half.
And Rod, if Tennessee State decides to go for it here on 4th and goal from just beyond the 1-yard line, it would only be the 2nd time this season they have gone for it on 4th down. They did not get it the first time. It appears they will go for it. James Webster, stone-faced. Here comes the play on 4th and goal. 3 men in the backfield. Hefner on the quarterback keeper. Still waiting for the indication.
He's got it. They had a great surge over there. Great surge. My question is, did he score?
What he did was get a first down. They could still get a first down, Rod, because they started at the 11. So they got they went for it on 4th down, got it, and got a first down. So now it's 1st and goal from the 1. Again, they try to force it in, and again, there's no indication as of yet.
I mean, what a great matchup. You got number 64, Cecil Newton. All right, 2-year starter, your center.
And it's a touchdown, Rod.
Yeah, you get behind big number 64, the center there. I mean, he's a good football player. All-conference last year, preseason all-conference this year. You know, you just tap him on the inside of the lug and say, hey, Newton, take that nose guard about 5 yards deep. That's exactly what he did.
So on 4th and short, they got it. They could still get a first down without scoring. That's exactly what happened. And then they put it in on the very next play. So 2 successive drives resulting in touchdowns for Tennessee State. Here is the extra point from Eric Benson, and it is good. So Tennessee State trailed 10-0 to Jackson State. They have scored 14 unanswered points and lead it 14-10.
The stage play that everybody's talking about. Tyler Perry.
Sports South.
Antonio Hefner with his first rushing touchdown of the season gives Tennessee State a 14-10 lead, the 9th rushing TD of his career. 13 plays, 69 yards, 5 minutes, 23 seconds as Hefner takes it in on the quarterback keep. Hefner ran it twice in a row, actually, Rod. Got it on 4th and short. They could get a first down without scoring. Then he took it in one more time, called his own number, and the Tigers from TSU have the lead.
Yeah, and the credit goes to 64 Cecil Newton, the senior center there, two-time all-conference player, just absolutely dominating at the point of attack and getting that thing pushed in for the touchdown.
Antonio Hefner, the senior from right here in Memphis, Tennessee, and the Tigers from TSU will kick it away. Dominique Johnson, number 6, across the 30 and up to about the 35.
Well, we're going to find out a little bit now about the intested fortitude, all right, of Jackson State. You know, they jump out to an early lead. They execute their offense perfectly. Game plan's running wonderfully. You're up 10-0. And then here comes Tennessee State storming back. They take the lead. Well, do you hang your head now or do you compete? Or do you fight? You know, football is more about how much you can take than how much you can give. We're going to find out what these young men are made of here over the next couple hours.
42 yards through the air thus far for Rutland. He is the quarterback, number 7 for Jackson State. Two receivers to the top of your screen, one to the bottom. Quick little drop and throw. And that is complete to Keenan Tillman, who spins at the 40 and is rocked to the turf.
Yeah, Tillman, the 6'5", 200-pound freshman, he's got a fantastic future ahead of him.
There is a flag on this first down play. Deshaun Bigham, number 55, in on the stop of Keenan Tillman. Keith Moore is our head official for tonight's game.
On the offense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, they've changed the rule now. Comes you're not happy. Penalties becoming a problem. You know, you cannot chop a defensive lineman if he's engaged with another offensive lineman. You know, you can't double team guys that way. You can double team them if you both block high, but if one guy's blocking high and a back comes in and cuts him, that's what you're going to get, a 15-yard penalty, which I think is a great rule.
Rick Comagee, 123 wins. Overall as a head coach in his 17th year. His quarterback is Trey Rutland, who had a touchdown pass in the first quarter to Carlos Simpson. That is the lone touchdown so far in the game for Jackson State on second down. Correction, first down and 25 after the penalty. Over the middle, and it's complete at the 35. Complete to Carlos Simpson. Eugene Clifford, number 22, on the stop for TSU. And it's Antonio Hefner getting a great job done on the previous drive, Rod.
Yeah, doing a great job with his legs, avoiding pressure, moving the chains. Then he hits the receiver right over the top of the man-to-man coverage, and then finally at the end makes the great check. Okay, makes the great play call to snap it, quarterback sneak with Newton as center and score the points.
Hefner has been the MVP of this game 2 years running. Incomplete. Is it intercepted? It is.
That's picked off.
Intercepted by Deshaun Bigham, his first pick of the season.
Well, great job by Nathan Bigham, all right, being aware, all right, getting his hand on that football, deflecting it, hits his receiver, bounces up and bang, and then finishes off and makes the play. Yep. Great job of running to the ball there. Yeah,
Brian Jackson was the receiver, Rod. He couldn't handle it, and Bigham came up with it.
Yeah, Bigham just running to the football and comes up with the interception. Great awareness.
First of the season for Bigham, the senior from Fort Valley, Georgia. 1st and 10 from the 38 for Tennessee State on the play action. Hefner back to pass. Complete down to the 20. That is Chris Johnson who makes the catch. Ryan Rich tackles Chris Johnson, number 5, the senior from Nashville, Tennessee.
You know what? Chris Johnson is so effective on the in route. You might want to play him for almost anything else. You know what I mean? Like, you almost want to play inside man-to-man against this guy. If you give him the middle of the field like that with a seasoned quarterback like Hefner, they're going to move the chains on you all day long. You almost have to get that cornerback inside and play Johnson inside out. Make him beat you on a go route. Make him beat you on an out cut. Because if you give him an in route, he's going to kill you.
18-yard gain on the play. Javaris Williams on first down from the 20. And there's not a lot there for Williams as the clock continues to tick. 4 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the second quarter. Marcus Smith on the tackle for Jackson State.
Yeah, we mentioned Marcus earlier. What a great job of perimeter defense. Engaging the wide receiver or running back, keeping your outside arm and leg free so when the back tries to bounce, you can make a tackle. Williams can't do anything about that. That's just called great perimeter defense by Jackson State.
Javaris Williams now with 10 carries, 21 yards, and a touchdown. 14-10, Tennessee State with the lead, 2nd and 10 from the 20 of Jackson State. Antonio Hefner from the shotgun. Little bunch formation to the near side. It's complete. That's Ronald Evans. And Evans down to the 16-yard line, but there is a flag thrown at the 28.
Yeah, it looks like holding over there.
Again, Marcus Smith in on the play for the Tigers of Jackson State.
Good run. Holding. Number 5 on offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, we got some wideouts out here blocking in front of a quick screen. And there's the hold right there. There's your hold. Yep, number 5's got a hold of a whole bunch of jersey. They're right in front of the side official.
Chris Johnson. Yep.
You'll never get away with that. And surprising, because Chris is a senior. He's been around for so long. He played in so many games. He knows better than to grab a guy's jersey on the perimeter.
3 minutes, 36 seconds to go in the second quarter. Tennessee State with a 14-10 lead. They have scored on their 2 previous possessions this quarter. Hefner feels the pressure and escapes. Slings it in, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Brandon Belvin. Again, Marcus Smith, who has been all over the field with the coverage for the Tigers of Jackson State.
Yeah, another great play by Marcus Smith. We're wearing this number 30 out over here, but I'll tell you what a great plant and break on the ball and a physical attack, get the ball knocked out. Hefner's looking the opposite way, clears the pressure, and bang. Knock him right down to the turf. Outstanding defensive back play there.
Smith, the senior from Miami, Florida. Last year redshirted with an injury. Coming on strong here in the Southern Heritage Classic. 3rd and 20. Hefner, incomplete. And he was looking for Jawan Spillman. Just a little too high for number 18. That brings up 4th down.
You know, can you feel it start to happen? Can you feel Jackson State start to adjust? They're doing a better job on their perimeter run. They're doing a better job of getting some pressure. They finally figured out how to stop these in routes, and they're starting to play a little bit better defense. They're starting to adjust.
So with the ball spotted at the 30, a timeout for TSU as we go down to James with a special guest.
All right, I am here with Ed Too Tall Jones and Hollywood Henderson. First, Ed, you had a golf tournament today in Tunica. Why do you continue to have this every year at the same time as the Southern Heritage Classic?
Well, first of all, this is a huge weekend for Memphis, Tennessee. The golf tournament was sold out. We were lucky that the weather held up. Everybody had a wonderful time. It benefited a lot of good charities, and it's one that something I look forward to every year. And as long as people will continue to support it, I will continue to do it.
How happy are you to see Tennessee State finally 2-0 after all these years with weather?
I was a little concerned the first quarter, but once we were able to make a turnover and that momentum switched, I think we're going to be all right.
All right, now you got your friend with you, Hollywood Henderson. Now, you went to Langston, but you still enjoy this event also, right?
Well, I like anything black, and sort of this weekend here, Tennessee State and Jackson State, remembering the SWAC and black college football, so I'm always down for something like this. Plus, my friend invites me, and I come when I can.
All right, thanks a lot. Let's throw it back upstairs.
Thank you, James. And I love the fact that Tutall had to sit for that interview.
Yeah, no question. He's
the number one, Rod, the number one overall pick in 1974 in the draft by the Cowboys. 15 years for the Cowboys. Played in Super Bowl 12, a victory over Denver 27-10. And what a career for Ed Tutall Jones. And a happy spectator here as Tennessee State has that 14-10 lead, and they will punt it away on 4th and 20. Taylor Cisneros trying to tuck this one in the corner.
It's a touchback.
It is a touchback. That was Tyron Johnson, who almost came up with an incredible special teams play. He jumped from out of the end zone, but couldn't keep the football out of the end zone.
You know, and you go back to the screen, and Chris Johnson with the hold, and that's what put him in this offensive hold to begin with. You see, you got to have both feet planted across the goal line before you touch that ball. If you're jumping from the end zone onto the field, then it counts as a touchback.
3 minutes, 9 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Tennessee State with a 14-10 lead over Jackson State University. Trey Rutland in at quarterback for Jackson State.
Changing the play.
Yep, out of the shotgun. Design run for the quarterback. Rutland. He's going to pick up 12 yards on the play, cross the 30, and get a first down for Jackson State.
Yeah, very nice play by Rutland. You know, they had a pass on. He saw that the defense was overset to his right. Made a check at the line of scrimmage. Got his running back up in the line of scrimmage to make a block, and bang, there's an instant avenue to get into the secondary. That's an outstanding play about getting your team into the right play. It doesn't matter how talented you are if you're running the wrong plays. Good job by the quarterback there.
1st and 10 from the 32. 2 minutes, 46 seconds to go in the second quarter. The lefty fires behind his receiver, and it's intercepted.
That's a touchdown.
Eugene Clifford has it inside the 10 to the 5 and a touchdown. Wow. The first interception for the sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio, Eugene Clifford, and it's a touchdown for the Tigers from TSU. 43 yards on the return by Clifford.
Well, first we've got pressure, all right, on Trey. He's got to let go of that ball a little earlier than he wants to because he's got big-time pressure coming on. A great job by Cliff to catch the ball in his hands. You see, he didn't let the ball get into his body. He reached out with his hands and made the catch, and then had the awareness to get down the field and put 7 points on the board.
And the extra point from Benson is good. 43 yards on the interception return for a touchdown by Eugene Clifford. And it started with the pressure from Rodney Fritz, number 17. He put the pressure on Rutland. The pass was behind the intended receiver, and Eugene Clifford was sure-handed in the secondary for TSU.
Yeah, I think Eugene Clifford's got a chance to really develop into an outstanding player here. I mean, was getting ready to crack the starting lineup at Ohio State, decides to move back to Tennessee State, and he's just been a wonderful addition.
And you saw a great block up front at about the 5, maybe just inside the 10 by Nishan Bigham. Number 55 did not give up on the play, and his block springs Clifford into the end zone, 43 yards on the return, Rod.
Yeah, Nathan Bigham, the senior, wants to make the most of his last go-around in the Classic, and he's hustling down the field, knocking guys down, laying it all out. As a senior, you got to go for it.
The senior from Fort Valley, Georgia, 6'3", 211. And he threw all of that 211 at the opposition to spring Eugene Clifford for the first touchdown return of his career, first interception of his career, and he takes it all the way to the house for TSU, up 21-10, 2:37 to go in the half.
Well, I mean, you're in the Classic, you're in front of your family and your friends, you got a packed house. What a way to get your career jump-started at Tennessee State than to pick off a pass in a game this big and then take it to the house.
Benson kicks it away for TSU. This is going to be Johnson. Across the 25, up to the 35. and muscles his way to the 45. So with 2 minutes, 28 seconds to go in the half, Jackson State has great field position in which to respond to the TSU return for a TD. And a flag comes out late on the play.
Yeah, it looks like there was a little extra activity there after that tackle. Some tempers flaring.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 2, 10-yard 15-yard penalty, first down.
Wow, and that's Larry Wilford, the senior. He's been around a long time.
So, Rod, talk about a momentum swing. The return for a touchdown by TSU, and then a great return by Johnson. I think you tack on 15 more yards, and here it comes. Here's the penalty on Wilford.
Well, it just started out with them getting pancaked. I mean, sometimes that happens. The man's a little bit better than you want to play. He gets you flat on your back. It's not the time to punch him in the stomach and have a fit. You just suck it up and wait you see him again.
So just like that, James Webster's defense will be challenged here. 1st and 10 from the 39 for JSU. Throwing deep. Incomplete. And there's a new quarterback in for Jackson State. Michael Mosley came in. So Rick Comagee decides to send in Michael Mosley, the 6'3", 225-pound junior from New Orleans, Louisiana. And he goes deep right out of the chute. Here is the play of the game, presented by Allstate, and it's Rutland on the throw behind his receiver. Took the heat from Rodney Fritz. Eugene Clifford, the beneficiary, and Clifford picking his way down to the end zone thanks to the block from number 55, Bigham, and it's a touchdown for TSU with a 21-10 lead. Pitch play, ball on the turf, and it's covered up. Dorjan couldn't handle the pitch, but there was a flag thrown out well before that, right at the start of the play almost, Rod.
'76 White on offense, shot block, that penalty declined, 3rd down.
Yeah, Mikael Harshon, the junior, 6'4", playing tackle on that right side. We had a couple chop blocks today. They just changed the rule this year, so some of these guys haven't quite got adjusted to it, but with your left tackle, you cannot cut another man that's engaged. Can't engage him high and then cut him low.
2 minutes remaining here in the first half. 3rd and 17. Mosley inside the 45, and Jackson State did not want to get tricky there. Jason Towson, number 99, you see him right there in the middle of your screen for TSU making the stop. So that'll bring up 4th and 14. And now for Jackson State, they are 2 of 4 on 3rd down. And they had no intention of trying to pick up that 3rd down, playing conservatively here with 1:26 to go.
And the thing is, Tennessee State, we've already talked about this. Tennessee State is blitzing every time it's 3rd and long. All right? So why not at that point take a chance and throw it on down the field and see if you can get some one-on-one coverage and maybe come up with the play. But if you run a quarterback draw into an extra blitzer, then nothing's going to happen. As a matter of fact, they lost a couple yards.
Bennett the punt. It is blocked. The punt is blocked and scooped up. 53, Kellen Woodard makes the play. Brett Bennett back to punt. Kellen Woodard with the penetration, and he gets his hand on it. And here comes TSU with 58 seconds to go in the half, Rod.
Wow, that's a disaster. Woodard gets free and just overpowers one of the upbacks, drives right through him, gets a hand on it, and then has the awareness. Look at him, just drive right through, boom. I got a block on that guy. Woodard's a beast. You better get your hands on him. And then scoops it up and is trying to score. Just powers right through the block. It hits him in the underarm. Fantastic job by Woodard.
And if not for Mike Evans making that shoe top tackle right there, that could have been another touchdown for TSU. defensively. So here's Hefner with some time. Johnson at the 20. Squirts forward to about the 18. That'll bring up second and about 3. And here's the block again on the punt of Bennett.
Yeah, and then he has awareness to scoop it up. And I'll tell you what, good job to chase him down to make the tackle. I would rather a better block, you know. Keep Woodard from getting his hand on that football.
2nd and 4 from the 18 for TSU. Hefner has all day back there in the pocket.
Good patience.
Throws to the end zone, and it's caught. Brandon Belvin makes the catch on the deflection. Touchdown, Tigers.
Well, first of all, credit's got to go to the offensive line of TSU. What a wonderful job in protection. I mean, he literally had 8 seconds to throw that football untouched. Not so sure about the decision to throw it into triple coverage. Had a good result. But wonderful job on the offensive line. Just absolutely stymied Jackson State's DLs. I mean, look at the time he's got. There's nobody within 5 yards of him. Trying to hit a crosser, bounces up in the air, and Belvin is the fortunate recipient of a tip pass.
Win off the hands of number 9, Rod, Marcel Young.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, Marcel Young has got to make that play. You've got to catch that ball.
So what a wild final 2 minutes here in the second quarter. Tennessee State has now scored 4 touchdowns here in the second quarter. The drive goes 2 plays, 24 yards, takes up 39 seconds. Belvin, an 18-yard TD catch. The drive goes 24 yards. The TD grab was 18 yards. Belvin making the grab, and that is his first TD grab of the season, the 3rd of his career for the senior from Arlington, Texas.
Well, it'd be interesting to find out what comments he's going to tell his players at halftime, because we've been talking about this now for a quarter. How are you going to react to adversity? All right, you jump out to a big lead, you're Jackson State. Things couldn't have gone any better for the 3 quarters of the first quarter. And then it starts to turn, and the pressure starts to rise. All right, and guys start to press. Guys start making mistakes. You know, who's going to be the person on that squad to calm everybody down and get them focused on playing quality football again?
A low liner of a kickoff is returned to the 45. And again, there's some activity after the whistle. So now Tennessee State has 2 rushing touchdowns. A connection between Antonio Hefner and Brandon Belvin off the deflection off the hands of Marcel Young in the end zone. And they also have the 43-yard touchdown return from Eugene Clifford, the first of his career. And that's a 28-10 lead with 14 seconds to go here in the first half. And Mosley comes back out at quarterback for JSU. Mosley has only attempted 1 pass since being inserted into the game, and that was incomplete. So with 14 seconds left, JSU is going to try to make something of it, and that pass is incomplete. And intended for number 87, Rashad Smith.
Yeah, just threw it wide there. Got a little excited.
And if I'm JSU, Rod, let's get to the locker room right now. Let's regroup. Let's figure out what's going on, because that's exactly what TSU did last week in its victory. Tennessee State scored all 34 points in the second half against Southern in a 34-32 win. So Tennessee State made the adjustments last week. It's going to be up to TSU, or JSU rather, to make the adjustments here at halftime at the Liberty Bowl. And now Mosley turns, and I believe he called the timeout, Rod. And well, he certainly did.
Yeah, there's some confusion on the sideline and in the huddle right now of exactly what they're trying to do. Are they just going to get into the locker room and try to regroup, or are they going to try to get this ball maybe 30, 40 yards closer and kick a field goal?
Mosley is a transfer from Louisiana Tech. He had 2 starts for Louisiana Tech at quarterback and receiver, so he is multi-talented. That came back in 2006. But he has been inserted for Trey Rutland. And Trey Rutland was 5 of 9 for 57 yards before leaving the game. Also had 1 touchdown pass. As Rick Comegy, in his 3rd year patrolling the sidelines, 8-4 last year, lost their first 2 games of the season, including the Southern Heritage Classic, went on to win 8 of the last 10 and win the SWAC championship game over Grambling State.
Yeah, he's a fantastic coach who's been successful on every level, and don't be surprised as this season progresses, this offense is going to come together. Again, you have new starters, okay?
Timeout, Tennessee State. That's their second timeout at the first half.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson State's got 7 new starters on their offense, okay? Every skill position player is new. Only one of them has experience in the program. 2 true freshmen on the offensive line. Are you kidding me? Your center and your guard? I mean, of course, these guys are going to get more acclimated to college football. Of course, Comedy's going to coach these guys up, and they will get better over time as they start to understand college football and his system. So by the end of the season, don't be surprised if you see this Jackson State team playing at a completely different level than they are now.
Jackson State will be at Grambling State next week. Those freshmen that Rod talked about, number 69 Rod Scott is a freshman from Jackson, Mississippi, and Lewis McLeod is a freshman from Gainesville, Florida. Both of those players weigh in at over 300 pounds, so there is a future there, but as Rick Comegy, the term he likes to use is young puppies.
Yeah.
And along the front line, when you've got 2 freshmen at center and right guard, it's going to take another term that Comegy likes to use is seasoning as the season progresses. Here on 2nd and 10, 9 seconds remaining. Mosley in the shotgun. And he'll just run out the clock. This is Dorjan weaving his way inside the 35 and down to the 32.
Timeout.
They did not get the timeout. The time on the clock has elapsed. And look at Tillman and the entire JSU side. They wanted that timeout. Maybe might have had a chance at the end zone, maybe a field goal. The wind is actually blowing from right to left across your screen. Did they get the timeout? Hold everything, Rod. Hold everything.
I'd be surprised if they didn't. I mean, he was down it with 3 seconds to go. The 3 seconds can't wind off.
Timeout.
Yeah.
That's the 3rd timeout of the first half. Please add 2 seconds to the clock.
Yeah, that's the right call. Good job by the officiating crew there.
So Eric Perry will come in to attempt a field goal. 23 yards on the play by Dorjan on the little delayed handoff from Mosley. Eric Perry, this is a 49-yard attempt. Now Perry last year in this very game hit one from 50 yards to set the school record. Can he do it from 49 yards away? 2 seconds to go in the half. The snap was high. Perry kicked it anyway, but never got the right steps and the right timing, and a flag comes out.
And he got hammered. Still can't hit him.
There was definitely confusion along the line and a poor snap. Snap was high. The holder is Brett Bennett, the punter.
Great job to get this ball down.
Marquez Hall is number 21 who came in.
5-yard penalty. 4th down. 1st down.
Another penalty for Tennessee State.
Yeah, the down is really academic because there's only 1 play left in the half. And another chance for Perry and JSU to tack 3 more points on the board. This is a very big play in the ball game, Rod. JSU gets some points going into the locker room. It's a whole different outlook on the second half here from the Southern Heritage Classic.
Absolutely. It makes it a 2-score game, number 1. And then finally, it just adds a little bit of positive momentum.
44-yard attempt. Eric Perry. That's a low line drive, and it goes under the crossbar. No good. Bennett had a little trouble with the snap. I don't know that the hold was perfect for Perry, who still kicked it away, but it was low under the crossbar, incomplete to end the first half. So Rick Comegy will walk off the field, trailing Tennessee State 28-10. Eric Perry missing from 44 yards out. A wild final 2 minutes of the first half. as Tennessee State got a defensive touchdown and also scored a TD on a deflection off the hands of a defender. But Brandon Belvin was right there to get his 3rd career touchdown catch. As Jackson State will leave the field first, both teams entering and leaving the field from the same entrance and exit for that matter. And let's go down to James Verrett.
Coach, what did you tell your defense when they gave up those first 10 points?
I didn't say anything to them, really. There wasn't really anything to say because, you know, we made some mistakes on the first drive and the second when they got it down here, you know, on a mistake made in the kicking game. And basically those 10 points were attributed to the kicking game. You know, our punter didn't get the ball off, and they got the return on that. So it really wasn't any reason to jump those guys. You know, I thought that they were hanging in there, and all they were doing was get their heads down. You know, I just wanted to keep playing. I knew we'd be okay. You know, some things happened that were not in our control, so I knew we'd be okay.
What could you say about your offensive line? They gave up 1 sack, but after that, they've been lights out so far.
Well, we got a lot of veterans up front, you know, and Jackson State's doing some things differently than what they used to do. So it took us a little time to figure out what they were doing, and I wasn't worried about that. I just knew that if we kept playing and not panic, that was the thing I wanted them not to do, was panic. So I couldn't panic, because if I panicked, they panicked. So we just kept it calm, and we knew things would be okay.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Back upstairs.
Thank you, James. James Webster with a 28-10 lead at halftime. He is 3-0 all time against JSU, trying to make it 4-0. It's a 28-10 lead for the Tigers from TSU. When we come back, we'll hear from the talented bands from both schools.
The hotter the hot. The colder the cold. The greater the demand, the more you need Duralast. Batteries built to exceed the need. Batteries built to meet or exceed original equipment standards for cold cranking amps. Batteries built with the power to hold up to heavy electrical demands. Batteries so good they come with a coaster.
Discover the Braves' favorite activities.
Welcome back to the AutoZone halftime report. Tennessee State with a 28-10 lead over Jackson State as we listen in to the Jackson State University marching band, the Sonic Boom of the South.
Featuring twirlers Celia Bowman and Melanie Gibbs, both of Jackson State University and Nashville, Tennessee. Let's Stick Together was arranged by Rodney Chisholm, a graduate assistant from right here in Memphis, Tennessee. presenting the thrill of a billion eyes, unmatched in charm and grace. Here they come, the Prince and J-Sets from Tigerland. Watch as they dance to Labels Are Love by Fergie. It's time to give you what you came for. Work it out.
All right, it's DJ Unpredicted from 97.7 FM. Getting ready to get down with the Sonic Boom in the South. Right about
More of the AutoZone halftime report to come. Tennessee State with a 28-10 lead over Jackson State. You are watching the Southern Heritage Classic on Sports South.
Sports South.
Back to the Liberty Bowl in the AutoZone halftime report. Tennessee State with a 28-10 lead over Jackson State. As we listen in to the Tennessee State University marching band, the aristocrat of bands. AutoZone halftime report continues right after this from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, game day.
Like your breakfast.
Welcome back to the AutoZone halftime report. Tennessee State leads Jackson State 28-10 in the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Tom Wormy along with Rod Smith. A very exciting finish there in the first half of play from the Liberty Bowl. And Tennessee State, Rod, they came up with some great plays defensively and got some points off of those plays as well.
They absolutely did. I mean, they really turned up the intensity late in that second quarter, really got it rolling. Ball's tipped up. Newton makes the interception. Here we have another interception by Clifford. The kid out of Ohio State transferred in. He's going to be a great player. The ability to take it to the house, not just make the catch. We got a block punt. Newton again on the play. Scooping and scoring. He gets grabbed down. But I'll tell you what, it's a great effort by him. Hefner has a lot of time in the pocket, throws it into coverage. When it's going good, it's going good. He still gets the great result, and Belvin's the recipient of a very nice, lucky catch.
18 yards to Brandon Belvin as we take a look at the numbers from the first half. Jackson State led it 10-0, 28 unanswered points from TSU, Rob.
Yeah, Jackson State came out and executed their game plan perfectly, held the ball, ran it, short, complete passes, and then seemed to lose their way. Tennessee bounced back, scored on them, and it just seemed to unravel for them.
How does Jackson State kind of recapture that momentum that they had to start the ball game here at the Liberty Bowl and try to get back in this one against TSU? Remember, they're trying to stop a 5-game losing streak in the Southern Heritage Classic.
I think the best opportunity for them is to go back to their original game plan, and that's short passes that are easy to complete, and that's running the football. If they dedicate themselves to doing those two things, they can crawl back in this deal.
All right, Rod, we're getting set for the second half of play here from the Liberty Bowl and the Southern Heritage Classic. This is the AutoZone halftime report. We're coming back right after this.
Sports South.
Back inside the Liberty Bowl for the Southern Heritage Classic here on Sports South. Tennessee State with a 28-10 lead over Jackson State as Eric Benson is ready to kick it away here in the second half from Memphis, Tennessee. Johnson and Dorjan, that's Dorjan number 2. They will receive the kickoff from Benson. Tennessee State 28 unanswered points in the first half. And we're underway in the second half. It will be Dorjan. Steps forward to the 7, stumbles, regains his balance, goes to the 25, up to the 29. And right now let's check in with James with head coach of Jackson State, Rick Comici.
Okay. Coach, what did you tell your team going into the locker room?
The game's far from over. Far from over. We gave them some of those plays. We just got to get back in it. We got to stop giving the games away. We got to play football in the second half. We're going to win it. We're going to stay after it.
Quarterback, what do you plan to do? You going to stay with Mosley or are you going back to Rutland?
We'll probably go with Mosley, give us a little bit more push, and try to go from there.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you, James. Michael Mosley came into the game in the second quarter for JSU, and now Rick Comici will entrust him with the offense, the junior from New Orleans, as we start the second half, Rod. First possession for JSU.
Well, you want to get back and run the football. If you look at the early drives where they had success, they were insisting on running the football and throwing short passes that have no danger for the quarterback and allow receivers to make plays, and that's what they need to get back to. They started to kind of move their offense into this long passing game, and it didn't work.
First and 10, right to the ground. Up the middle, Dorjan. He'll pick up almost 9 yards on the first down play. And we revisit the Ford keys to the victory, keys to victory with Rod Smith.
Yeah, you look at Jackson State, 7 first downs, 4 of them for rushing. Now, they've got to get back to that kind of offense. You look at Tennessee State. They had to score early, finish drives with TDs. Mission accomplished. 3 offensive touchdowns in the first half. They didn't quite limit the penalties with 7, but they've got 2 turnovers to the good, so that's why they're in the lead.
Dorjan now with 8 carries for 40 yards, leading rusher for Jackson State. This is Mosley. And Mosley up to about the 35.
Now, this is the type of offense that we talked about. Mosley's a fine athlete. There's no problem with getting him the ball, the shotgun, and running quarterback draw. It's a safe play. It allows your offensive lineman to move forward. Listen, it's not natural for a 350-pound man to backpedal. It's just ugly is what it is. So what you want to do is get your big guys moving forward, run blocking, being aggressive, attacking. It changes the mood of your entire football squad.
2nd and 2 for JSU. Ball in the 35. Dorjan. He's hit, and he is down close to the first down marker. Maurice Davis, the senior from Irondale, Alabama, making the stop for Tennessee State. Is it enough for the first down, though?
Well, Dorjan's obviously not a very tall guy, but he's well built. He's got those big arms. He's got the thick neck. You know, and once he gets underneath your pads, he creates leverage, and he can play surprisingly physical for a man his size. You know, these little backs can give you fits because they're always a little bit lower than you are. Tough to tackle.
He has averaged 59 yards per game so far this season. He is up to 50 on 9 carries as we get a stoppage in play. And in fact, his run on the previous play was good enough for another first down for JSU. So we are trying to reset the chains and the various yard markers on the sideline, make sure everybody's on the same page. But it is first down, indicated by that big orange 1 on the sign, Rod, just in case you were curious.
You got that figured out.
Okay, yep. Now we're ready. 13 minutes, 2 seconds here in the 3rd quarter. That is Michael Mosley on in relief of Trey Rutland, who started the game for JSU. Dorjan hit immediately. Marcus Broxy, number 7, shooting a gap and making the stop on first down.
Yeah, Broxy doing a great job coming on the blitz, getting his pads low and making a nice tackle. Yeah, transferred in from West Virginia. Got his pads nice and low here. Boom. Look at that. Good strike. Good physical tackle there. And as a sophomore, he's got a chance to really develop. And I mean, you put about 15 more pounds on that kid over the next offseason, he's going to be a monster next year.
Broxy, the sophomore from Tampa, Florida, comes up with the tackle. Call it a loss of 1. 2nd and 11. Here comes the blitz. Dorjan crosses the 40 and up to the 45. Very shifty running on the interior by Dorjan. Stopped by number 6, Anthony Levine, the junior from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
You know, and it's great to watch a chess game. Yeah, you see Kamaji now starting to run his inside draw away from where Tennessee State was blitzing. Tennessee State knows, hey, Jackson State wants to run the ball. They want to pound it at us. They want to get in this thing the old-fashioned way and just beat us up. Well, we're going to start blitzing, and we're going to bring more guys that you can block. A great job by your quarterback to check out of it and give it to Dorjan heading to the right. Blitz was coming from the left, checked away from it, gained 7 yards.
Dorjan with 59 yards in the game. That is his average so far through 2 games this season. So already at his average, gets the call again, and he's got a first down near midfield. Larry Williford making the stop for TSU. And now Dorjan wants to grab a quick break on the sideline.
The international symbol for somebody please help me. I'm exhausted.
The midgets, Rod. Jackson State's halfbacks. And all of them checking in under 6 feet. In fact, 5'9", the biggest. And Dorjan generously listed 5'9". And you can see he is
gassed.
Yes, he is very tired on the sideline, but he has had several carries to open up the second half. In fact, Dorjan up to 13 carries now for 64 yards. And there's nothing tricky about this. You're going to get an opportunity to play and make those plays. Dorjan, who has been in there, but now he is doubled over on the sideline.
Yeah, and you know what? This size with the running back thing, I think, is a little overblown. You know, there was a guy named Barry Sanders who used to run around in this thing called the Superdome, and I tell you what, he would absolutely put fear in your heart, Tom.
What about the all-time leading rusher in the National Football League, Emmitt Smith?
Not a bad player either.
U.S. men and women in uniform in 176 countries and U.S. territories are on board for tonight's broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We certainly hope you're enjoying the broadcast of the Southern Heritage Classic from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. great to have the viewership across the world tonight for the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic. Marcus Broxy making the stop.
On the carry for Jackson State University,
Demario Pippin, number 18, gets his first call of the evening.
Well, there wasn't a whole much there for Pippin. He got on the perimeter, but his wide receiver missed the block out in front, and he had to turn it upfield. But I like the fact that they're committed to trying to run the football, making this a physical game for their offensive linemen. Instead of them taking shots, their offensive linemen are giving shots.
And another huge thank you to all the men and women around the world defending freedom for our country, enjoying college football this evening from Memphis, Tennessee. It's an honor to be broadcasting this game on Sports South throughout the world. 176 different countries and territories. And in this political climate, to provide some pleasure to the troops abroad, men and women everywhere, to enjoy this rich rivalry.
It's fantastic. Now we got 3rd and short here, the 3rd and medium. You know, maybe a short pass to a guy in the flat, maybe even a draw, something conservative here.
Mosley out of the shotgun. 3rd and 4 for JSU. Steps up. Going to be well short of the first down marker.
Well, TSU did a great job of playing a cover two zone that gives you 5 guys in underneath coverage. Very, very difficult to complete little hitch routes, little curl routes, you know, which is exactly what JSU tried to run. Good defensive call. Smart play by the quarterback not to force it into trouble, get the thing picked off. Sometimes you have to take your medicine.
Brett Bennett into punt. He's averaged just over 38 yards per punt this season as we cross the 9-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter, and the snap goes through his hands. Bennett retreats back to pick it up and kicks it away, all in one motion. And it takes a TSU bounce and will roll dead. Touched by JSU at the 45, but that could have been a lot worse. Brett Bennett had the snap go through his hands and was able to kick it away. So it's going to be excellent field position for TSU on its first possession of the second half with a 28-10 lead. Bennett the miscue. Here come the Tigers from TSU.
So as you all know, we've been on a hot streak, and I didn't want to jinx it, so I stopped shaving. But is there anything else we can do to keep things going strong?
Well, you guys really helped us out with our international shipments.
Okay.
We should use FedEx Express for domestic shipments.
Oh, I like that.
And with FedEx First Overnight, we'll deliver by 8:30 a.m. to more zip codes than anyone else.
Okay.
Maybe time to shave the beard.
It has been getting itchy.
Yeah.
Relax. It's FedEx.
I'm Charles Ewing, President and CEO of Ewing Moving Service. Since 1980, we've grown to be one of the largest minority relocation companies in the Mid-South. We specialize in corporate and residential moves, and now as a certified agent of Stevens Worldwide Van Lines, Ewing handles local, national, and international moves. Our professional customer service agents, packers, and movers will take care of you. We also have 274,000 square feet of climate-controlled storage. So the next time you're moving, call Ewing Moving Service.
Accolades, multiple championships, no equal. Suzuki.
That is Brett Bennett, the punter, getting some encouragement and direction from the coaching staff of JSU. And here's what happened, Rod, right through his hands.
Yeah, it's a little high, but that's a ball that you absolutely have to catch. That's the punter, entirely a punter error.
And he is talking to Bruce Johnson, the special teams coach. And now TSU takes over with fantastic field position for its first possession of the second half. And Antonio Hefner, the senior from right here in Memphis, at quarterback. That's Dante Thomas. A couple of yards for Thomas along the right side. And number 58 for TSU, DeMaka Atkins, immediately holding his right knee and not getting up right away. Atkins, 6'4", 302 pounds, the senior from Sarasota, Florida. Rod, he is one of those transfers from Florida State. Those tackles for Tennessee State.
Yeah, along with Cornelius Lewis, number 66. Both guys were actually roommates at Florida State. All right. And Atkins came up first, and then he called his man. He said, "Hey, how are you doing down there in at Florida State?" I think I'm going to go up there too. So that's how they got both of them. One roommate recruited the other.
So he made the call to Tallahassee and said, "Come join me in Nashville."
Absolutely. On the right-hand side, he's blocking. Ouch, right in the back of the right leg.
That was Dennis Coit, and Coit himself left the game in the first half. He is back in. And those bricks in the big line for Tennessee State along the offensive line. Lewis, Newton, and Atkins. Cecil Newton from Atlanta, Georgia, the senior, along with Lewis and Atkins, the two transfers from FSU.
Yep, and all those guys can play. A testament to what Coach Webster's been able to do as far as bringing in kids from all across the country, from a variety of different programs, here to Tennessee State to compete with his guys, and they've got nothing but better.
Atkins receiving some assistance to lead the playing field. 2nd and 8 for TSU from the 43-yard line of Jackson State. The pass is complete and caught by Belvin. Brandon Belvin, the senior receiver, finding some space on the outside, and that'll move the chains. Antonio Hefner, midway through last season, was injured, a broken ankle. He had thrown for almost 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns, but his season ended with a broken ankle, had off-season surgery, and showed us yesterday, Rod, took off the sock and showed us where 7 screws and a metal plate have been inserted. He'll have them for life.
Yeah, it's not a pretty thing, that's for sure.
It's his right ankle, right up the middle. Big gain for TSU. Dante Thomas.
Well, Dante Thomas is the beneficiary of some great play calling. Hefner's been showing this little reverse action, this little bootleg action. See, look at the gap right in the middle. See, no one's even there. They're looking for the reverse. Okay. See, look at my outside linebacker's looking for the reverse. By the time he sees the back, it's gone. Great play call.
Dante Thomas now, 4 rushes, 31 yards. And the ball spotted at the 11. So once again, TSU can get a first down at the 1 of Jackson State. And that's Coit. To stop, Thomas got the call one more time. His 5th carry of the game. And that is a big number 92, Dennis Coit. 6'1", 320 pounds. The senior from Newcastle, Delaware, already has a sack in tonight's game, Rod.
Yeah, he left the game earlier. Had a problem with one of his legs. Now he's back in the game getting after it. Another young, talented defensive lineman for Jackson State. Got a bright future in front of him and a heck of a run player.
Hefner moves to the shotgun on 2nd and 11 for the Tigers from Tennessee State. Pumps one way, hits Belvin the other way, and then at least 3, 4, maybe 5 white shirts converge on Belvin. That's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Tigers from TSU.
You know, and Coit got bumped at the end of that play, and now he's over on the sidelines. I'm not sure if he's coming back tonight. It looks like he's in quite a bit of pain over there.
Brandon Belvin has a touchdown catch. That happened in the waning moments of the 2nd quarter off a deflection in the end zone off the hands of Marcel Young for JSU. Belvin making his 3rd career touchdown reception and 1st of the season. And that put Tennessee State up 28-10. Call it 3rd and 14. Hefner will run. Tries to throw on the run, has to pull it back in. Tiptoes the sideline, and then forced out of bounds inside the 10.
Wow, what kind of athlete is Antonio Hefner? I mean, you see the way he stops on the sideline and makes people miss, and then has the awareness now to stay behind the line of scrimmage as he still looks down the field. Look at his eyes, up the field. Last year, he's only thinking about running now. Even after he breaks that last tackle, looks back down the field again. It's great awareness.
Ryan Rich pushed him out of bounds. So Eric Benson will come on. This is a 27-yard attempt for Benson. And it's good from Eric Benson from 27 yards away. His first field goal of the game. It's now 31-10. Tennessee State leads Jackson State in the Southern Heritage Classic.
It's time to get up. Who's the black private and head on down to Memphis?
You're watching Sports South
on FSN.
Tennessee State with a 31-10 lead over Jackson State as we head down to the sidelines with James.
Quick injury update on DeMarca Atkins, the offensive lineman from Sarasota, Florida. He has a right knee injury. They're icing it down, but it's unlikely that he will return for Tennessee State. But it seems as though the young running back for Tennessee State has taken advantage of the opportunity given while they've been resting Javaris Williams. When he came off the field, the senior Javaris, who he is, he encouraged the young freshman to give him a little tips. Even though they know they're one lineman down, they still feel they can run the ball. Back upstairs to you guys.
Thank you, James. Dante Thomas is that freshman you're talking about, the true freshman from Dallas, Texas. Thomas with 5 rushes for 30 yards. Antonio Hefner is the leading rusher for TSU, 9 attempts, 49 yards. Here comes Dorjan up to the 35 on the return for Jackson State. The Suzuki scoring drive for Tennessee State. On its previous possession, a 27-yard field goal by Eric Benson. 7 plays, 36 yards, 3 minutes, 27 seconds. That is your Suzuki scoring drive for Tennessee State, now leading 31-10 over the Tigers of Jackson State, and they must respond on this possession run.
Yeah, they really need to get back into this thing with at least get within 14 points going into the fourth quarter to give yourself a chance.
And that's not a good start. The return by Dorjan being negated by a penalty, and they will spot the ball at the 6 of Jackson State.
And you know, we opened the broadcast talking about the problems that Tennessee State has had in the penalty department, and they haven't let us down. All right, they've got about 8 penalties so far.
Now the officials are saying, Rod, it was not a penalty, that his knee was down as he made the catch on the kickoff. So, you know, even worse, they have to start from the 6. This is Dorjan, spun down at about the 7. And as we get a better look at it from our outstanding camera crew, you can see that the knee hits, and that's why they spotted the ball where they did, right there.
Yeah, that ball's down.
So he had a great return, but it's all coming back because he was down once he made the reception at the kickoff.
Yeah, just not quite sharp at catching that ball on the dead run. You really want to catch kickoffs moving toward the opposing goal line. If you wait for the ball to come to you and it moves around the wind a little bit, it's a little windy out here tonight, you know, you can get in that situation, you have to lean over to catch it, and your knee hits the ground.
Michael Mosley out of the shotgun for Jackson State, steps into his own end zone, tried to dump it off to Dorjan, and that was awfully close to being a lateral route.
You got that right. And that was just a little casual trying to get rid of that ball. But you know the clock's going off in your head. You know that there's a free blitzer to the left, so he knows I got to get rid of it now so I don't get hit. But never looked at him. Tom, is that a lateral?
It was really close. It was ruled an incomplete pass, and it will bring up 3rd and 9 with 4 minutes 19 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Jackson State needs a serious spark as they trail by 21 here in the 3rd. Mosley, too high and intercepted. Intercepted. Tennessee State return inside the 10 and into the end zone for a touchdown. Tyron Johnson, the interception and the return for a score, the 2nd time tonight for the Tigers of TSU.
Yeah, a wonderful play by Tyron Johnson. I mean, he was waiting for that overthrow the entire time. He knew he had a corner playing underneath the wide receiver. In order for the quarterback to fit the ball in that hole, it was going to have to be high, and he's just standing there waiting to catch it. Great idea to get himself positioned there for the overthrow, and then to convert the thing to 7 points. That's what I like to see. The awareness of, hey, not just, yeah, I caught a ball, congratulations. It's now I'm going to go score. He's up the sidelines here, pointing out blockers, diving into the end zone. Outstanding play.
The ball was intended for Spencer Spain, number 83, too high from Mosley, and it's Tyron Johnson, who returns it 39 yards for a touchdown, and Tennessee State has now ripped off 38 straight points and has a commanding 38-10 lead. Tyron Johnson and a convoy of blockers to pay dirt for TSU.
When a crossover can get 24 miles per gallon.
Jackson State coming off of a fantastic play by one of their defensive backs. Tyron Johnson, you see Tyron right here, okay? Tyron's playing deep third. We've got 2 wide receivers deep. Inside receiver tries to dive in. Tyron makes the play. Not only that, now he's going that way. Go get a score. Don't celebrate the interception. Let's get some points on the board. Outstanding play. Perfect cover 3 technique. You get back deeper than the deepest. You evaluate the 2 vertical wide receivers. If the quarterback tries to fit it in there to the inside guy, it's your job to go ahead and move on across and make a play on it. Textbook.
Tyron Johnson, 39 yards on the return. Eugene Clifford had a 43-yard touchdown return in the first half. So now Tennessee State has returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns. So 38-10 advantage for the Tigers from TSU.
I mean, and you think about it, if you're -1 in the turnover battle, you're going to lose 77% of the time. Now they're -3 and they've got 2 scored on them. Statistically, the game's over. I mean, Jackson State's going to have to do something outstanding above and beyond the Call of Duty to get back in this thing.
Well, if history serves, we might have a close game, but it's going to be tough. Tennessee State, 3 interceptions in the game, 2 returned for a touchdown. They also had a block punt from Kellen Woodard. That set up a score, and a tip pass caught for a touchdown by Brandon Belvin in the end zone. So really everything that could go right for TSU, they have gotten all the breaks tonight.
Yeah, and coming into the game, everybody talks about Johnson. Everybody talks about Hefner, the quarterback, and Williams, the outstanding tailback. No one said a whole lot about their defense, okay? But they're doing a fantastic job, especially in the secondary, of making plays on the football and converting it into points.
Eugene Clifford and Tyron Johnson, both with returns for scores on interceptions tonight. Carlos Simpson to the near side, run out of bounds, and a flag comes out. They spot him at the 26, but there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, a little contact, well past the white line. It's gonna result in 15 yards. A late hit. Can't do that. He's out of bounds. A little shove.
That's number 29 for Tennessee State, Riley Howard, with the late hit with Simpson out of bounds.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Number 22 on the defense, 15-yard penalty. First down.
I believe the official said 22, but it was definitely 29, Riley Howard. And now he'll think about what just happened on the sidelines. He is out of the game. So that moves the ball up to the 41 of Jackson State. This is the 43rd meeting overall between these 2 teams. Jackson State trails the series. 18 wins, 22 losses, 2 ties, and they first met in 1949. That one is complete. Mosley is on target to his man, Cedric Dixon, number 82. And that should be good enough for a first down. The chains will move for Jackson State. That's what they got to do, Rod. Move those chains, get the ball out of bounds, get back in the game with 3:24 to go in the 3rd quarter.
All right, nice job by Dixon on the catch. But you notice how when he caught the ball, he looked around to find out where the defenders are. Listen, it's too late in the game and we don't have time to look for a defender. When you catch that ball, you immediately turn upfield.
That was the first completion of the game for Michael Mosley.
Good ball there. You have a receiver that's running from outside to inside the formation. As a quarterback, it's your job to keep Marcellus Webster out of trouble. That means you throw it low and away where he can catch it and slide him to the ground. If you throw that ball high across the middle and there to Webster, one of those linebackers could kill him. Nice ball, well executed.
First reception of the game for Wilder, the true freshman from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. There's Mosley again, and that is behind the intended receiver, Keenan Tillman. And let's go down to James Verrett with a very special guest and a man who has a big hand in this event. James?
Yes, I'm joined by Fred Jones, the founder and creator of the Southern Heritage Classic. I know a lot of work goes into this. So far, what is your response from the crowd and the team?
Fantastic. It's a great game, great weather, great everything. This has been a fantastic week. And Frankie Beverly was off the hook last night.
Well, a lot of people want to know, what is bigger? Is the game bigger than the tailgating? Are the concerts, the step shows bigger than the event? Or is it really all about the game?
It's really all about the game. This is what makes the weekend. This is what makes the Southern Heritage Classic. This football team, they do, you know, that's what makes it happen. It's all about the game.
All right, thanks a lot, Fred Jones. And next year it'll be 20 years.
20 years.
All right, back upstairs.
Thank you, James. This really is such a well-run event, and we get so much support from the folks at the Southern Heritage Classic. It is all about the game, Rod Smith, but it's also about all the people behind the scenes who make sure everything comes off as they planned, and year in, year out, one of the best events college football-wise in the nation, and especially here in Memphis, Tennessee.
It's fantastic. I mean, from our vantage point right here, you can look out of the stadium and see the amount of traffic and tailgating that's still going on outside the stadium. I mean, there are a lot of folks out here fired up inside the stadium, outside the stadium. It's just a wonderful event.
3rd and 8 for Jackson State. And that pass is too strong, trying to connect with Keenan Tillman, number 88, the true freshman from Milton, Florida. Couldn't catch up with that one, so that'll bring up 4th down and 8 for Jackson State University, and they are really going to have to make an unbelievable comeback with just over 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter and trailing 38-10.
And Tillman's a big target at 6'5", but you've got to, as a quarterback, you've got to at least give him a chance. I mean, now you're down by 28. You're getting ready to get into the 4th quarter here in a couple minutes. Give your receiver an opportunity to make a play on it. You can't just throw it over his head.
This is Brett Bennett. Last time he punted it, squirted through his hands. This time he gets it away, and wow, what a punt by Bennett as it bounds out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Brett Bennett will make Tennessee State go 99 yards if they want to get back in the end zone. 1:50 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Well, that's a great kick and an opportunity for Jackson State. They have a long way to get back, and I'm not sure if it's possible or not unless something big happens. All right, but now they have an opportunity here to pin Tennessee State deep in the territory. You know, hopefully they get a punt out of here that's less than spectacular. Now you got the ball in the +50, and you should score from there. So what we need the defense to do here is really make a stand, and it starts with stopping the run.
45-yard punt by Bennett backs up Tennessee State to its own 1-yard line. Antonio Hefner still in the game for TSU. 105 yards through the air for Hefner, who is 10 of 14, but rushing, he has 9 carries for 49 yards and a touchdown. Has also thrown for a touchdown as well. It was of the lucky variety, but a touchdown nonetheless. Tennessee State has played in every Southern Heritage Classic. They won the first one back in 1990 over Jackson State, 23-14, and this game has continued to blossom over the years here at the Liberty Bowl. And Tennessee State is a big part of that, winning the last 5 Southern Heritage Classics against Jackson State. Won it by a point in 04, Rod. In overtime in 2005, another OT game in 2006 where they went for 2 after scoring a touchdown in OT and got it and won the game 31-30. And last year was decided on a last-second field goal by Eric Benson, a 35-yarder, and the victory for Tennessee State. 5 in a row for the Tigers.
Well, good job on the defensive side of the ball here by Jackson State. Guys up front just getting it done. Terrence Banks getting it done. Neil Pro getting it done. Great play by the 2 down defensive tackles here on the last 2 snaps.
Rod, the Classic is Metro Memphis area's largest single-day event.
Really?
Top attendance was back in 1997. Over 61,000 people packed this place for a victory for Jackson State, 31-28. Last couple of years, we've had well over 50,000 here at the Liberty Bowl for the Southern Heritage Classic. 38-10, TSU with the lead. Hefter from his own end zone just airs it out, and Belvin made the move on the defender, Marcel Young, but couldn't catch up to the football. Kind of a floater out of the end zone from Antonio Hefner.
Well, not a give-up play, but, you know, when you're looking at an 8-man front by Jackson State, what does Hefner do? He might as well check to a play and go against the one-on-one coverage. And almost caught the darn thing. Threw it about 25 yards inside the go route there, but almost got it completed anyway. Great adjustment by Belvin.
Almost ran under it for the senior from Arlington, Texas.
You got your block on here, Tom? You trying to block this thing?
Absolutely, Rod. Cisneros gets it away. This is Simpson. Carlos Simpson down to the 35.
Don't clip.
And there is a flag on the play. It is sitting at the 44-yard line.
You know, we talked about this earlier about how do you react to pressure? How do you react to adversity? And it seems to me Jackson State has started to panic just a little bit. They're trying so hard to get back in the game. They're taking risks and they're getting penalties.
Gonna run back. Lock in the back. Number 7. 10-yard penalty. Okay.
Now, it couldn't be number 7 because that's Trey Rutland, and he's out of the game. We're going to go with 17, and that would be Timothy Clark, Rod.
Yeah, there's your block in the back. And then right here we have another one.
Maybe even a late hit at the end of the play. Maybe 2 late hits.
2 late hits.
One against TSU, one against Jackson State. Either way, they'll spot the ball at the 46-yard line.
We have a block in the back, a clip, a hit out of bounds, and a late hit. All on one snap.
I only saw one flag on the field with 3 seconds to go. This will be the final play in all likelihood of the third quarter. 38-10, Tennessee State in the lead here at the Southern Heritage Classic. Quick pass, Simpson. Up to midfield and to the 45 of Tennessee State, and the clock runs out in the third quarter. 15 minutes to go from the Liberty Bowl and the Southern Heritage Classic here on Sports South. Tennessee State with a 38-10 lead over Jackson State. The Tigers and the Tigers, the 19th edition. We're coming back for more right after this. Southern Heritage Classic on Sports South is brought to you in part by the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau. Beale Street in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee, home of the Southern Heritage Classic. We are inside the Liberty Bowl for the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic. Dorjan gets the call. Rico Council, number 47 for TSU on the stop.
Well, a wonderful inside trap play. I mean, they've had that all night long. Tennessee State plays a 7-man front. Quarterback checks to the inside trap. He probably gained 30 yards on that single play over the course of the game.
This Liberty Bowl Stadium opening in 1965. It is the current home of the Memphis Tigers. And you could hear the pads pop up here. Ozzie Harrell comes in, number 3, to make the stick on Dorjan, along with Eugene Clifford, number 22.
Well, I like the idea that they're still running the football. Dorjan here, inside trap, breaks it outside, bang. This guy's still getting after it. Yeah, Dorjan looked like he was about to pass out in the sidelines here a little while ago. They ran him about 5 plays in a row. He's a tough kid.
Yeah, Blowdy Dorjan now 15 carries for 76 yards in the game.
Yeah, buddy.
This is Mosley trying to get creative as he steps inside the 20, and the chains will move. Stopped by Eugene Clifford. Back to Dorjan for just a moment, Rod. 3 brothers and 5 sisters for Dorjan.
Wow.
So playing football and getting out of the house is a little bit of a break for him, I'm sure. But They're probably all in attendance. It's a great family atmosphere here at the Southern Heritage Classic. It's just a wonderful event here in Memphis, Tennessee, an early season event for both of these teams. And now Dorjan up to 84 yards in the game as he gets a breather, and Mosley calls his own number. He got hit from behind by Jason Towson, number 99 for Tennessee State.
Number 13, Michael Mosley.
Yeah, Mosley's going to start using his inside trap plays as much as possible. Sometimes it's going to go to the back. Sometimes he's going to fake it and carry it himself. But it's giving Tennessee State some problems.
Dorjan is still on the sidelines. He ran for over 100 yards last week in the victory over Stillman, which was a 17-7 decision. The defense in that game, 5 sacks and 2 interceptions. The tables have turned against TSU here tonight, Rob.
Certainly have.
Mosley on second down in the end zone. It's too high for Carlos Simpson, who is only about 5'9", the senior from Detroit, Michigan. Looks back at his quarterback and says, I can jump, but not that high.
You know, and Mosley's facing zero coverage, which means everybody's blitzing that's available. It's man-to-man across the board, and 6 or 7 guys going after the quarterback. Now, Mosley sees it coming, so he knows I've got to get rid of this ball fast, but that doesn't preclude that you plant on your back foot and lean into your throw. He kind of threw that off his back foot because he felt the pressure coming, didn't give his wide receiver a chance to catch the ball. Ball is always going to come out high and long unless you plant your back foot and step into your throw.
So call it 3rd and 7 inside of 12.5 minutes to play in the football game. 38-10 TSU, and we get a stoppage in play, and several penalty markers litter the field. And that's happened quite a bit tonight.
False start. Number 76 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Mikael Harshon, big 76, just a little quick there. Junior in his first year starting. A big game. Probably more people in the stadium than he's seen in his life. And I'll tell you what, he's a little excited. He's actually played a pretty good game tonight. He's getting after it.
So that makes it 3rd and 12, just over 12 minutes to go in the game. Mosley wants to throw, eludes the pressure, steps up and throws to the end zone. He had a man and just couldn't connect. It was number 85, Rod, Marcellus Wilder. And Marcellus Wilder, he is a member of a very athletic and talented family. Wilder couldn't come up with the grab in the end zone. The ball was just a little bit too far away from him.
Mosley does a great job of avoiding pressure and getting his eyes down the field, but you can see it that he's just a little excited that the game is happening just a little quick for him right now. You know, and you watch Hefner, who's played probably, what, 600 more snaps at the quarterback position. You see how calm and relaxed he is once he gets out of the pocket. Mosley's going to get there. It's just going to take a little seasoning.
Going forward on 4th down to the end zone, and once again he had a man with a step, and that was 87 Rashad Smith. But again, the pass too far. And Rod, as we look at the flags at the top of the stadium, you can see that the wind may have been playing havoc with both of those throws, because the wind is blowing from right to left pretty strongly across your television screen as we get a look at the flags at the top of the stadium. And there's a good breeze running through the Liberty Bowl, and both of those passes on 3rd down and 4th down too far for the receivers to handle.
Yeah, I think his technique has more to do with it than the wind. You're absolutely right. The wind is blowing. Every flag is going that direction. But he's throwing all these balls off his back foot. And when you do that, I don't care whether you're Tom Brady, Brett Favre, or Mike Mosley, the ball is going to go high and away.
So Tennessee State takes over on its own 21-yard line. The new quarterback is Dominic Grooms, and before we can get started with the play on 1st down, the officials blow it dead. Dominic Grooms, 6'1", 190, a sophomore from Tampa, Florida, is a transfer from Missouri.
8 on offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
It'll go against TSU and march the football back to the 16-yard line. Antonio Hefner. It appears that his evening may be through. 10 of 15 through the air, 105 yards and a touchdown. Rushing 9 times, 49 yards, and 1 touchdown for Hefner. He snuck it in from close range to score that TD. And again, flags come out. And Rod, let's refer back to the first quarter. Jackson State, as we get the official word.
Front to the snap. False start. 7 to 8 on offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Back to the first quarter, Rod, and Jackson State actually has a 10-0 lead. Remember the live ball on the kickoff? They cover that. They get some points out of it. And then Tennessee State comes roaring back, 38 straight points. I don't know whether it was a wake-up call in the first quarter or what it was, because we agreed that on paper, TSU more talented than Jackson State, but they really poured it on here. And now Antonio Hefner done for the game, and there's a fumble. And it's recovered by Jackson State. Marcus Smith, number 30, comes up with the fumble.
It looks like the back never got the ball. Yeah, you know, I don't like the position of the hands and arms there to receive that football. Now, you can't look at the football. You got to trust your quarterback to get it in there, but he didn't have his hands in the correct position to receive that football.
And Rod, that's Javaris Williams, the senior. Now, he came into the game averaging 3.9 yards per carry. Williams in the game, 12 rushes for just 24 yards, does have a touchdown, but again, 12 for just 24 for the senior from Richmond, Texas. So here's Dorjan trying to weave his way to the end zone. He'll be stopped shy. About the 3-yard line, maybe the 2 for Dorjan, who's really done a lot of work tonight. Been beat up, gone to the sidelines, gotten a breather, doubled over, and he's back into the ball game.
Yeah, you got to like Dorjan as a football player. I mean, he's competitive. He runs hard. He's got fantastic speed and better than average vision, you know. And he hasn't put it on the turf today either. I mean, he's got great ball security.
Dorjan up to 84 yards in the game. Blaudy Dorjan, number 2. 2nd and goal for the Tigers. Mosley the pitch. Dorjan racing to the pylon, and he gets in there for the score for the Tigers from JSU.
Wow, good speed by Dorjan to the corner. Are you kidding? You got 2 guys with angles on him, one of them being Eugene Clifford, and Dorjan just takes it to the pylon untouched.
2nd touchdown of the season for Blaudy Dorjan, Rod.
Good decision on the pitch here by Mosley. Dorjan's got it with a couple guys with an angle, and look at him. Forget about it. One-on-one with the linebacker, you're going to lose that one every time. Dorjan's got some speed to him.
And Dorjan, just a junior, 1 more year to go for the junior from New Carrollton, Maryland. Up to 88 yards, 18 rushes, 88 yards, and that 2-yard scamper for Dorjan as he beat everybody to the end zone.
Well, it starts with a good decision with the quarterback here on the pitch and a quality pitch. You know, Dorjan just takes it right to the house. He's going to want to get that ball into his left hand. You carry that ball in your front side arm, and you're asking for a fumble. With great speed, nice play.
Ten minutes, 33 seconds to go in the 19th annual Southern Heritage Classic. Tennessee State with a 38-16 lead. Those are the first points for Jackson State University since the first quarter when they led 10-0. The Suzuki scoring drive didn't take long, didn't go far, wasn't many plays. 2 plays, 4 yards, 52 seconds. Blaudy Dorjan, a 2-yard touchdown run off the pitch from Michael Mosley, who took over for Trey Rutland in the second quarter. Rick Comagee looking for something. And Michael Mosley just couldn't drum up the effort that they needed tonight, especially when they fell behind into the second quarter. They have responded with a score here in the 4th. but it may be too little too late at this point for Jackson State.
Well, it certainly is for Tennessee State, because you're starting quarterbacks on the sideline cooling off. Going to be tough to get him ramped up again.
JSU will go for 2.
They got it.
And they did get it on the strangest looking play you'll ever see. That was Mosley on the 2-point conversion. Just looked funny from the start, Rod, but they get the 2-point conversion and now trail. Tennessee State 38-18. This is the Southern Heritage Classic. Tennessee State ahead of Jackson State 38-18 as the Tigers from Jackson State go for 2 on a peculiar looking play, but it's Mosley taking it in for the Tigers.
Yeah, and the center snaps the ball before anybody else is ready. You know, you look at the guard on either side of the center and they're just standing still. Mosley does a great job of making something out of nothing, realizing what was happening and getting the ball upfield into the score. So here comes the ball. Nobody else is moving but the center.
And it's an awful snap,
yeah.
too.
Whoa.
It's a ground ball.
The quarterback cuts back inside and finds a little lane and gets 2 points out of it.
I don't think that's a design play, Rob.
I absolutely
don't think
know
so.
It's not a design play.
All right. I didn't think so.
No.
Jabril Smith will kick it away for Jackson State. And 86 for Tennessee State is Javier Jackson, the redshirt freshman. Getting a chance to play in front of his hometown crowd. He's from Memphis, Tennessee. We are at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee for the Southern Heritage Classic. Tom Wormey along with Rod Smith and James Barrett. Happy to have you with us. We welcome an international crowd tonight. On the Armed Forces Network, we are being seen, the American Forces Network, we are being seen in 176 different countries and U.S. territories around the world. A global audience for the Southern Heritage Classic here in Memphis.
Yeah, you know, and Jackson State came out and executed their game plan to perfection in the first quarter. Ran the ball, short, close, effective passes. Kept the quarterback out of harm's way. Built up a 10-0 lead, and then Tennessee State came back in the game off of some Jackson State turnovers and penalties and really got it going in the second quarter, and it's been lights out ever since.
There you get a look at James Webster, who was actually an assistant coach with East Carolina when the Pirates played in the 1998 Liberty Bowl. As Antonio Hefner returns to the game, keeps the ball and goes down.
Yeah, a little early to take out your starting cornerback. You're starting quarterback, pardon me. You know, especially after that last handoff. Because obviously Williams has done this a few times. You got a young quarterback in the game, bang, it's on the ground, they get 7 quick points. The last thing you want to do is fool around and find yourself in a 14-point game with 3 or 4 minutes to go in the game. God forbid you were to lose a thing. So get your starter back in there and close this thing out in style.
2nd and 15 for the TSU Tigers. From the shotgun, Hefner wants to run with it. Up at the 25 and gang tackled. Going to be marked just inside the 25. Marcus Smith, number 30 on the stop. Number 26, Malcolm Palmer, also in there to bring down Antonio Hefner.
And, you know, there are no questions about Antonio Hefner's skills. There's no questions about his toughness. But, boy, when I see him run, Tom, it makes me nervous. I mean, he's broken an ankle. He's broken a shoulder. And he's such a valid part of this team. It makes me nervous to see a quarterback with his talents and his injury history running around the football field.
He was all conference as a sophomore, threw for over 1,600 yards, 9 touchdowns, rushed for 5. Last year, midway through the season, on pace to throw for about 3,000 yards, and that one's complete to Belvin, who gets down to the 20, and they're going to rule him down at the 43. Either way, it's going to be a big gain for TSU, and they'll march it into Jackson State territory. After last year, a broken ankle in the 7th game of the season, he had started every game, was on his way to throwing for over 3,000 yards, and had 10 TD passes and had to leave the season with that ankle injury after the 32-yard hookup with Brandon Belvin.
Well, we talked about this several times now. You know, just a year ago, once he broke contain on the rush, Hefner's going to run that football. Instead, this year, he keeps his eyes down the field. He has good vision, finds one of his guys streaking down the sidelines and hits him. It's the kind of maturation that takes place at the quarterback position after years of what is called seasoning?
Seasoning.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, he's got it now.
Absolutely.
It's an outstanding play.
Dante Thomas, from the seasoned senior to the freshman Thomas. He goes up the middle, and it appears he may have another first down for TSU. For the freshman from Dallas, Texas.
Making contact for Jackson State University, number 30, Marcus Smith.
Tennessee State with a first down, looking to go 3-0 on the season. Now, the last time they did that, they only won 1 game of the following 8. And that was back in 2004. So 3-0, not necessarily an indication, at least historically for TSU, but I would go against that, Rod. This is a solid ball club with an experienced quarterback. And they've got some great running backs. We know what Javaris Williams can do. We're seeing what Dante Thomas can do. Dante Thomas in the game, 6 rushes for 41 yards. So we know they have some weapons to utilize the rest of the way. And next week, they play Saturday. It's a home game up in Nashville against Eastern Kentucky.
Well, I think this team unquestionably has more talent than any team they've had since Webster's got there. I think you can't discount the fact you have an experienced, senior-ridden offensive line and quarterback. All right, you've got a tailback who's going to lead this conference as the all-time leader in yards and touchdowns. Chris Johnson, who's a senior, all right, going into his 3rd year as a starter, catching balls for you. You know, you add a kid out of Louisville, you know, who runs 4.2 in the 40. All right, Juwan Spillman. I mean, they are just absolutely loaded. If they can get it done on defense, all right, if they can find a way to keep people from pushing the ball at them on defense, they have a chance to be really, really good.
James Webster is in his 4th year as head coach, 15-20 overall. That record will improve to 16-20. He'll go 4-0 against Jackson State. Webster, before he assumed the head coaching duties at Tennessee State, 4 years as an assistant at North Carolina, from where he graduated, and actually was a linebacker for North Carolina.
Oh, he's a really good player for North Carolina. He was a 3-year starter, team captain, all-conference.
Most valuable defensive player of the 71 Gator Bowl, and here his remaining schedule as they take on Eastern Kentucky next week, but they are off to a sensational start. Especially the victory over Southern last week. They didn't score in the first half. 34 points in the second half, 463 yards of total offense against the Southern Jaguars.
Yeah, and the people at Southern will tell you that that's because they're tired, because they didn't have a chance to practice, you know, because of the hurricane and things. You know, what I'll tell you is that they had 9 penalties in the first half, and Tennessee State shot themselves in the foot. They killed a lot of chances to score points with their penalties. The second half, they had 1 penalty, and they also had 34 points. When they play disciplined football, Tennessee State can move the ball on just about anybody.
And this could be their 3rd straight victory this season, all over SWAC opponents. Eric Benson will come in. 43-yard attempt for Eric Benson, who has already connected from 27 yards away. And he will not be required to provide the dramatics at the end of this game as he did a year ago. Eric Benson made a 35-yarder as time ran out to win the Southern Heritage Classic 16-13. Now that was an unbelievable finish, and the thing that made it crazy was that it started to rain. It was raining sideways. It was raining into the broadcast booth, and Benson went out there with supreme confidence and knocked it right between the uprights, and the celebration was underway for James Webster and the Tennessee State University Tigers.
Tom, I knew that rain coming in the booth was not going to phase me. I was never worried about lightning or rain. I mean, you are a professional, sir.
And here it is,
I'm worried about it.
Here it is. Look at the rain on the lens. And it is right down Broadway.
Yeah, that's big time.
And the celebration ensuing.
Yeah.
And I hope we have James Webster, because, you know, he is so stoic and stone-faced, and he's so intense. In fact, yesterday, remember, Rod, when we were waiting in the tunnel to interview some of the players, and the Tennessee State players started kind of ambling onto the field, and Webster barked at him, called them all back into the tunnel. He said, that is not the way you take the field here at the Liberty Bowl for the Southern Heritage Classic, in stark contrast to his celebration after last year's victory.
You got that right. I mean, you know, we had some guys meandering on the field, you know.
Lollygagging,
Lollygagging, right?
Benson's kick off the upright, and when it's going good, it's going great.
You got that right.
Benson knocking it through as the ball hit the upright and went on through. And now it's Tennessee State with a 41-18 lead over Jackson State. Eric Benson made it interesting, but it goes through, and it's TSU in the lead.
A stage play that everybody's talking about. Tyler Perry's The Marriage Counselor.
This is Tyler Perry inviting you to check out The Marriage Counselor.
Me? I am married. That got me. I wasn't expecting that.
It is the unstoppable power of God that puts marriages together.
Don't miss it this time. People are still talking about it.
It is so hilarious.
It's like over the top, you know.
He's gonna find another man.
This is an awesome play.
October 10th through the 12th in the Orpheum Theater. Get tickets now or charge by phone.
You're watching Sports South.
One of the traditions here in Memphis at the Peabody Hotel, these are the Peabody Ducks. Every day they come down out of the elevator and they go straight into the duck pond.
And then at night they go back, don't they? Don't they walk them back up the elevator and back to the roof at night?
That is the life. The Peabody Hotel and the famous Ducks. Come to Memphis and see for yourself, folks. There's the Peabody Ducks and all kinds of other great things here in Memphis, Tennessee, including the Southern Heritage Classic. This is the 19th edition. Southern Heritage Classic turns 20 years old next year. And Tennessee State won that inaugural Classic back in 1990. Here comes Dorjan. This guy wants to play in a fifth quarter, Rod. He's up across the 25. He is an absolute workhorse.
He certainly is. And he's got his second win now. He's going to be getting after for another 5 minutes and 4 seconds, that's for sure.
5 minutes, 4 seconds remaining in the football game. Tom Wormy, along with Rod Smith, a member of the 1988 National Championship team from Notre Dame, that was honored yesterday and today with some festivities and unveiling of a statue.
That's right.
So congratulations on that, Rod, but we are very happy that you're here with us instead of there in South Bend. James Barrett is on the sidelines for us. And it's 1st and 10 from the 26 for Jackson State. Mosley swings it out incomplete, looking for Gerard Smith. Jackson State great Robert Brazil, a linebacker at JSU from 1971 to 74, and this past July, Rod, inducted into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. And this is the most amazing thing about him. He had a storied NFL career. Yes, 7 Pro Bowls in a 10-year career, but how about this? As a senior in 1974 for Jackson State, a school record 129 solo tackles, Rod.
That's insane. That's unbelievable.
129. And that's a record I guarantee will not be falling anytime soon in Jackson, Mississippi.
Geez, he must have had 170 when you include his assists.
That is amazing. That pass complete to Spencer Spain. Inside of 5 minutes remaining in the football game, 41-18 Tennessee State, and this goes against the grain because the last 3 games in particular in this series in the Southern Heritage Classic, 2 to overtime. Last year a last-second field goal. We thought maybe we might be heading that way, and then TSU just exploding in the second quarter. They have returned 2 touchdowns on interceptions. They've got a couple of rushing touchdowns, one from Hefner, one from Javaris Williams, and Belden has a touchdown grab. And more players from Jackson State in the pipeline to the NFL. And I think you go right to the guy in about the middle of the list, Walter Payton. Well, NFL Hall of Famer along with Slater and Lem Barney.
And I tell you what, I played against Jimmy Smith, and he was a superstar. I tell you what, he's probably on his way to the Hall of Fame, too. I'll be shocked if he's not in the next 5 or 6 years.
And Brazil, a teammate of Payton and Slater, Walter Payton, the all-time great from Jackson State University. Super Bowl champion back in Super Bowl 20, the '85 season with the Chicago Bears. Payton running for over 3,500 yards in college. He broke the NCAA scoring record. Get this, Rod. 65 rushing touchdowns. He had 7 in one game as a freshman in 1972. 4th in the Heisman balloting in 1975.
You know, and his training regimen and his preparation to play and in the offseason is legendary. You know, Walter Payton was a great athlete, don't get me wrong, but what made him truly exceptional was his work ethic and his want to go further than you to get more prepared. His unbelievable willpower.
Sweetness passing away way too soon back in November of 1999 at the age of 45 from liver disease. 3 times the MVP in the National Football League and 9 Pro Bowls. An MVP in one of those Pro Bowls. Unbelievable collegiate and professional career for the all-time great. Number 34, Walter Payton. Hall of Fame in 1993.
Yep, unanimous. Well, these snaps are still important to you if you're Coach Comegee. I mean, you're still looking at Keenan Tillman, young wide receiver. You know, Marcellus Wilder, young wide receiver. You've got Raj Soul up front. You've got Lewis McLeod up front. I mean, you got some true freshmen out here playing that you still want to give them some time to get what he likes to call seasoned up. All right, a chance to work against a good defensive unit with live bullets and give them some opportunities to learn a little bit more about the game.
Comegee won a national championship at the NAIA level back in '95, coaching at Central State in Ohio. He's got a long coaching resume, but the thing I found interesting is that Rick Comegee had a tryout with the Philadelphia Bell of the World Football League back in 1975. Not only that, he was also an assistant coach at Colgate and also the head baseball coach at Colgate for 4 years as well. This is a guy who knows a lot about the science and everything that's involved in being a head coach and molding young men into fine gentlemen as they progress in their careers, football or otherwise, Rod.
He's a lifer. I mean, no question about it. And he's been successful everywhere he's been, and I have no question. I mean, heck, in his second year here, they won the SWAC championship, so he's already had success. Now it's a matter of building his team and stocking with enough talent to be able to compete for the title every single year.
And that was after losing their first 2 games of the season a year ago. So we'll take a break. 3 minutes, 16 seconds remaining. TSU ahead, 41-18. This is the Southern Heritage Classic on Sports South, the 41-18 advantage for Tennessee State and all of its supporters. Very pleased with the outcome this evening. Not so much with that play, though, Rod. Funny looking snap on the play, and the clock continues to tick as we approach 3 minutes. That is Dominic Grooms, number 8, trying to get his bearings out there. He's back in. Hefner came in for a moment just to stabilize things because Jackson State had scored on a touchdown by Dorjan.
It's got to be a little unsettling when your second-team quarterback's having a tough time with the exchange. Got to get that figured out.
Jackson State will improve its record in the Southern Heritage Classic.
Good run.
Direction Tennessee State will improve its record to 10-7 against Jackson State. As busting through for a big pickup is Preston Brown.
Preston Brown does a great job of taking his front side handoff, backside, finding a seam, setting up blockers. The front side handoff, he cuts it back, and then right here's the cut. Boom, right there. Explodes into the secondary for 10 yards. Nice run.
Give him 19
here's
officially,
the cut right there. Bang.
Yep. Gets into the secondary.
Yeah.
And it takes Ryan Rich to wrap him up around the collar to bring down Preston Brown. He is a junior from Knoxville, Tennessee, getting his opportunity in the Southern Heritage Classic. Brown one more time, and 3-4 white shirts surround him and bring him down.
We're going to go back to the same play there. JSU's ready to rock and roll that time.
Tennessee State has 14 black college national championships in its storied history of football. Last year had a first-round draft pick in Dominique Rogers-Cromartie, now playing on Sundays with the Arizona Cardinals.
5-yard penalty. First down.
In fact, Cromartie has a game tomorrow against the Miami Dolphins. And Rod, you called it last year when we did the Southern Heritage Classic. You got to look at Rogers-Cromartie and said, here's a player who has a great chance to be playing on Sunday. Sure enough, he gets selected in the first round by the Cardinals. Yeah, he was the best athlete on the field clearly last year, in my opinion. And, and every time they threw the ball to him, he was on the coverage. Every time they ran the ball to him, he was effectively attacking the block and making a play. I mean, it's a guy that has the ability to do a variety of things, which gives me the clue that, hey, this guy's going to be a good pro. You watch him last year, he's physical, bang, he's cut blocking people, hitting guys, stretching out and blocking kicks. I mean, that's amazing. Look at him just stretch all the way out to make that block. Yeah, two-time All-American, 11 career interceptions. You'd be surprised. There are a lot of good cornerbacks and defensive backs that come out of the SWAC. Of those 11 interceptions, he returned 4 of them for touchdowns to set a school record. Final seconds tick away here from the Southern Heritage Classic. And that will be the final snap of the game. James Webster now 4-0 against Jackson State as he defeats Rick Comegee's team. For the 6th year in a row, Tennessee State has won the Southern Heritage Classic. Our final score from the Liberty Bowl. The Tigers from Tennessee State 41, the Tigers from Jackson State 18 will return to the Liberty Bowl to wrap it all up right after this on Sports South.
I'm Charles.
Tennessee State scores a 41-18 victory over Jackson State in the Southern Heritage Classic, and they did it with defense, turning interceptions into points. And the Tennessee State defense is our FedEx MVP of the game.
Yeah, they were outstanding. Here you see Clifford making an interception, transfer in from Ohio State. It's going to be a great play here for a long time. Then we got a block punt. Just powers right through the up back. Kellen Woodard, one-handed block, takes it back to the 25-yard line. Outstanding. Finally, we got a cover 3 cornerback. Tyron Brunson making a great read on a 2 vertical route, and not only catching it, but converting it to a touchdown.
39 yards on the return for a score. TSU did it twice, and they win it 41-18. The defense, our FedEx MVP of the game. We're coming right back.
Laura McGowan.
Antonio Hefner and the Tennessee State University Tigers win it over Jackson State 41-18 in a dominating performance right as they turn it on in the second quarter.
Yeah, they got down 10-0, but they really responded, got that offense rolling, really picked it up on defense, converted some bad throws into points. Wonderful job by Webster and Tennessee State.
Antonio Hefner throws for 1 touchdown and rushes for another and leads his team to victory in the Southern Heritage Classic for the 6th year in a row. TSU has defeated Jackson State. The final score from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Tennessee State 41, Jackson State 18. Our thanks to Fred Jones Jr. and his entire staff at the Southern Heritage Classic. For my broadcast partners, Rod Smith and James Verrett, I'm Tom Wormy. So long from Memphis, Tennessee.